Associated Press. Bush died yesterday at 41 years old. No cause of death has been given. NBA and it's Game 3 of the West Finals tonight in San Antonio with the Spurs taking on the Thunder and the series even at 1. As the Spurs look to bounce back after their Game 2 loss, and San Antonio star big man Victor Wembanyama says they have to focus on the game plan.
It's all in the scouting. I have to trust the scouting. We have to trust it and do our work early. It's it's a straight effort.
And Game 3 of the West Finals between the Spurs and the Thunder is tonight on ESPN Radio and the app with coverage starting at 8 Eastern. San Antonio guard Dylan Harper, a game-time decision with a right abductor injury. And the Spurs are currently a 1.5-point favorite. It's been 2 years since the Thunder have been underdogs in the playoffs. Day baseball at Wrigley. The Astros lead the Cubs 4-0 in the fifth. Christian Vasquez with a home run.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Monday. As NFL OTAs continue to roll on, I'll tell you the storylines I'm most paying attention to this week. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Off and running. Welcome in. After further review here on a Friday, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Musso in for Moscona. Our guys taking a little extended weekend here for Memorial Day. Leave today. He'll leave Tuesday. He'll be back on Wednesday. Jordan Kitchens, Paul O'Neill along for the ride, and we are fired up to have you along for the ride as well. I got a good show planned here to send you into your holiday weekend. Theriot, not able to be here for the entire 4 o'clock hour, but is going to hop on with us, give us his thoughts to wrap up LSU baseball season. So, of course, he's with us all year. And now can kind of give the postmortem from his eyes. So we'll talk to Ryan at 4 o'clock. Chris Marler, LouisianaSports.net. He is out in Hoover for the SEC tournament. We'll check in with him a little bit later on in the 5 o'clock hour of the show. Less the SEC tournament, more. This is Marler's first time ever at the SEC tournament. And I mean, I'm sure as many of you know in the audience, you've made that trip. It's a really fun trip. Kind of see how he's taking that in. And, yeah, we'll talk a little bit of baseball. This might shock a bunch of you, too. The tarp is on the field in Hoover, Alabama. Gasp. But it is the first time this week, so that's pretty good as well. But they're supposed to be playing baseball there right now. Maybe a few check-ins throughout there as well. And, of course, I have baseball thoughts as LSU season has come to an end. So, jam-packed show. Fired up to have everybody along for the ride as we send you into a holiday weekend. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
And we'll go ahead and get started with some LSU basketball and Will Wade and this offseason and recruiting and all of those things. And I'm actually excited to have this conversation because it is not in any way, shape, or form having to do with eligibility of players. Is Will Wade ruining college basketball? The entire narrative that we've been talking about here, not just on this show, across all of our shows for the better part of this week. No, this is actually going to be a little bit about basketball because LSU, I believe it was last week, you saw the commitment of Brice Dessert. Late Thursday evening, that became official. He was announced in the class and officially signed with LSU. So I want to talk a little bit about Dessert, what he brings, and how this is really continuing a shift that we've seen in Will Wade's roster building here in the offseason. We'll get to that. A little bit about Brice Dessert. If you don't remember from when he committed, he's 23 years old, French-born player, big man. In terms of position, and just his stature. 6'11". If you like that, you'll love this. How about a 7'3" wingspan to go along with the 6'11" build? Played in 23 games this past season. He had signed a 4-year contract. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce this Turkish team that he was playing with, But he signed a 4-year contract at the start of the season with them. Obviously, that won't come to fruition. He'll come to LSU now. But played 23 games over in Turkey this past season, including 17 in the EuroLeague, averaged 8 points, 3 rebounds. This is a guy who experienced, old, that tracks for what Will Wade's been going for, right? But the experience isn't just in terms of EuroLeague. It's also national basketball as well. He has been a multiple-time member of the French national team, played with Victor Wembanyama on that team, which, my goodness, can you imagine Wemby and Brice Dessert just in the same front court with the size and the length? That, goodness gracious, still wasn't good enough to beat Team USA in the last event that they faced off in. But, so you like that pedigree as well. He's a guy who is the 4th international player, 9th overall edition. So when Will Wade said a few weeks ago on John Rothstein's podcast, it's thin as far as you know, that just becomes more and more prophetic with every passing day and every new signee commit that Will Wade adds for this 26 team. And it's really taking shape. And this is where, when you look at Dessert, it kind of marks a shift in 2 areas. Go back to the beginning. You get your first commit, Marcio Santos, and they started rolling in after that. And what did they all have in common? Santos, Abdi Bashir, Divine Ugachukwu, scorers. You know, we played the clip from Jeff Goodman talking about Santos' game, talked all about the scoring, and then said the downside is can't guard. We played the clip from Abdi Bashir's coach at Kansas State to describe him, and he said simply, he's a bucket. Scores. We played the clip from Tom Izzo about Ugachukwu, where it was, he's done really well at scoring, but you got to remind him that he's got to play defense too. They went early and got guys who fill it up. And it was intriguing because when you look back at Will Wade's time at LSU the first time, he had plenty of guys that could fill it up. The defense, specifically perimeter defense, is really where his teams lacked. And in the 1 year they actually were good at defending was his last year, and you lost Xavier Pinson and all that. And it just, I mean, we don't need to rehash that entire season. But by and large, Will's teams at LSU were offensive heavy. And the addition started out that way. And now you have seen a shift toward more defense. That really started with Salu Niang, who, look, we had Ersin Demir on the show earlier this week. He was great. If you missed that conversation, it was the 3rd hour back on Wednesday. I would recommend you go find it on demand, YouTube, podcast, all those places. He was awesome in giving us a scouting report on all these international guys. And when he talked about Salu Niang, he said he is an elite defender. All SEC defensive team, he's going to pop. And that's the thing that really stands out about Niang. It's the same thing with Brice Dessert. This is a guy, and those two are going to complement each other very well. But Dessert is a guy known for his length, his mobility, and his defense. If you have a point guard that can get him the basketball at the rim, he can obviously score. But mobility, defense, and length. And that's the other part that this changes kind of the shift of where they're going now. Man, you were looking at this, and everybody they were bringing in was 6'7", 6'8". I mean, Niang, who we just talked about, 6'6". When you added Michael Rushik, that's a 7-footer, and now you add another one with Dessert. So you have gone more length and defense. And with the way Niang and Dessert can complement each other, you look at this and you say, all right, Niang, you're out on the perimeter. As the wing, you got great length. He's an elite defender. We need you to really lock that down. Dessert, you're going to be the rim protection. And the thing about both of those guys is they're physical. And the SEC is a very physical basketball league. And LSU has lacked that, clearly, the last few years on the hardwood. Like, clearly. They bring that, and they're going to complement each other great. And then, oh, by the way, you have Mo Diabate, who's also a really good defender who can give you minutes and spell those guys. And you're starting to see it come together. And that's encouraging. Well, everybody else wants to talk about, Will Wade's ruining college basketball, the eligibility or ineligibility of players. And look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I want players to be able to leave the G League and come to college basketball. That's stupid. Like, that's dumb. If you've signed a professional contract, you entered you gave up your eligibility. I stand the same as just about everybody else there. But while everybody else wants to talk about that, what's happening right in front of you is this team is coming together, and you can see a path to where, they're going to be able to make some noise and compete year one under Will Wade. And that's encouraging. I'd much rather that than 3-15. We talk about the big three having the worst season combined in 50 years. 3-15 on the basketball floor is part of that. I like to be able to see this start to come together while everyone else is looking over here and understand that 3-15, that's not where you're headed this year. We're making up for the basketball we didn't talk by talking a lot of it here in May, because Will Wade, doing what Will Wade does, making headlines. All right, we're going to grab a break. We're going to come back on the other side, dive into some LSU baseball. Season's in rear view. I'll give you kind of my 10,000-foot view on the season, where it went wrong, when you kind of knew that it was going to go wrong, all of those things. We'll talk about that next here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. I love sharing 5-star Google reviews. Here's one from Ricky Gomez, who said Chris, his technician, was very professional and knowledgeable during the HVAC evaluation. He provided details and recommendations in a clear and concise manner. That's one of the things that always stands out. If you're having an issue with your AC or your heater, and River City's 1 Hour Air sends out a technician for an evaluation, they're going to explain your options to you. And that may sound simple, but none of it, I don't know anything about an HVAC, neither do you. Let's be honest. So whenever they go get up in your attic or they go look at your HVAC unit on the side of your house and they come talk to you, they're going to explain very clearly what's happening and your options to remedy it. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. 752-0001.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last, because championships are built on commitment, not just on the floor or the court, but your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 25 Jeep Grand Cherokee with $15,000 off MSRP.
Plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files? Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
We're brought to you by Supper Club. You can book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. One of the things about Supper Club that I love is if you want to go to Supper Club and be a baller, you can do it. You want to go to Supper Club and order a $5,000 bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild, you can do it. You want to go have $400 shots of cognac, you can do it. You can have experiences at Supper Club that usually are reserved for Las Vegas and New York and Paris and Abu Dhabi. Like, that's here in Baton Rouge. But the thing you got to remember as well, if you want to go to Supper Club and have the best steak of your life and have a few appetizers, a dessert, bottle of wine, you can do it as affordably as any other restaurant in town. But the experience at Supper Club is unmatched. Introduced open seating at the bar, first come, first serve. So if you knock off of work, you want to head by Supper Club, you can walk in without a reservation, see if you can grab a bar stool or a table by the bar as well. Have a great dinner, maybe cocktail, close some business. Book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com.
Back here after further review, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar on a Friday. Musso in for Moscona. LSU Baseball, they saw their season come to an end on Wednesday night in Hoover, Alabama. And in that was expected at some point throughout the run. We all understood how heavy and improbable of a lift that was going to be for LSU to win the SEC tournament. So the inevitable, happened. We're going to dive more into the roster and next season Tuesday when we're back here. Matt will still be out. I'll be filling in, and I'll really kind of go into roster and kind of turn the page toward the offseason, especially because, at that point we'll be less than a week away from the transfer portal opening. So it just makes the most sense to dive into that conversation then. What I kind of want to do now is offer some thoughts on the season. A post-mortem of sorts. I'm not going to sit here and, dissect your misses in the portal or the injuries or any of that because we've done that. We've all done that. I've done that on Musso at the Box. Matt's done it here. They've done it on the Morning. We've all done that at this point. Hell, we were doing that mid-season when Jay Johnson brought it up after the Texas A&M series, right? We know that. You missed in the portal. Then the injuries happened, and that compounded everything. Like everybody's asking, how much did the injuries matter? They mattered. But what derailed this thing from the start of it is you just didn't play very good baseball. Okay? Like that's the part of this that should always shine through. Again, yes, you lost Cooper Moore. That mattered. You lost Jake Brown. That mattered. You did not have Jake Brown for the last 5 SEC weekends. The last 4 SEC weekends. That he was the leader, like all of that mattered. But why it mattered so much, yes, they're great players, but it just compounded the issue of you not playing really good baseball. That's what started this whole thing, and ultimately that's what finished it. So why? And again, The easiest thing I can tell you is, man, it just never clicked. It never worked. And I mean that strictly from an on-the-field perspective. This team clearly got along very well. They had great chemistry. It clearly meant a lot to them. But the pieces never gelled on the field in baseball sense. That wasn't the plan. Jay Johnson didn't build this roster because he thought they'd go 30-28 and not make the NCAA tournament. No, he built this team thinking that they could compete. And at times it looked like they could, but it never really clicked. You never got your best 9 in terms of position players, pitching. They never played complementary baseball well enough. It was always, if it's not one thing, it's the other. You pitched really well here. Oklahoma series, you pitched great that weekend. You didn't score enough to win 2 out of 3. You know, Kentucky, you want a slugfest. Tennessee, you want a slugfest. Although you did pitch pretty well in the Tennessee weekend. But there were just maybe Georgia and Florida are better examples of that. You had great offense. You gave up 36 and 37 runs, respectively, in that series. And then all the while, you fielded 967. It didn't click. And across all 3 phases. And then you add in the injuries and things of that nature, and you end up with where you were. One thing that I do want to talk about, though, that I think this team needs to be commended for, that was a great sign of growth that can help you into the future, and it hasn't really been talked about enough, is the resiliency and the response of this group. Because let's be clear, that wasn't good enough early in the year. Like, I will always use the Sacramento State series as the example for that, where they were. You went out, you scored 15 runs in the first game, then you lost the next 2. So it was the perfect illustration of response isn't their thing right there, and it was in wins and losses. You didn't respond well after scoring 15. You didn't respond well after losing game 2. I did a whole show on Musso at the Box about, like, that was basically the entire recap of that weekend was their response isn't good enough. They had to learn that, and they did. It got better because they never quit. LSU got swept in 5 of their last 6 weekends, and they showed up every single time, fought hard, believed they were going to win, and gave it everything they could right up until John Pearson grounded out in the 9th inning with 2-1 and he was the winning run. They fought. He worked a 8-9 pitch at bat. It was a really good at bat. You just came up short. But how easy it would have been for a team to quit. And in our time watching sports, haven't we seen a lot of teams quit in moments like that? And I'm not talking about LSU specifically. I'm just talking about teams in general in sport. They quit sometimes. This team never did. Even when they're getting swept 5 of their last 6, even when their hope is their NCAA tournament hopes are dwindling by the game. You've lost a starting pitcher. You lost your team leader in Jake Brown. Nope, never quit. You saw guys step up. You saw this team fight, scratch, and claw. And that is the part that's very encouraging because the guys who are going to be part of this next year were a huge part of that. And that's where you get into the freshmen, Mason Braun. All of those, Mason Braun, Omar Cerna, William Patrick, Jack Rucker. You throw Aaron Beatty in there. He's a sophomore, but you get the picture. How about Kason Evans? Kason Evans dealing with the injury, coming back and giving you arguably his best start of the year in the final game against Auburn. Those players are back. And they have built the foundation of a culture where you don't give up. You go out there and fight no matter what's going on. That's big for me going forward. Like, that is the thing you take from this season. Yeah, the freshmen had great stats, but that's the thing you take from them because that's what a championship foundation is built on. And they began to lay that again. The wins didn't follow. They're not always going to. And yeah, that stinks. But you could see the writing on the wall as this season progressed. And they kept going through all of it. And I'll tell you right now, I'll give you, I was doing an interview with RP3 and Mesh out there in Lafayette, our affiliates, Lafayette, Lake Charles. Went on with them weekly during baseball season. They asked me today during the postmortem if there was, when was the moment that you saw it and you said, probably isn't going to end the way anybody wants it to. And I gave him 2, Sacramento State series, because it's just odd to see LSU lose a non-conference or a pre-conference series at home. It hasn't happened very often. Drop a game here and there, but it's one of those things that just makes you take a step back and go, oh, all right, hold on, there's real issues here, because that doesn't normally happen. But the real answer is the week of the Ole Miss series. And talked about this a little bit on Musso at the Box after the regular season ended, but go back with me to Tennessee. Go back with me to Easter Sunday and think about where LSU was. You had went on the road into Lindsey Nelson, and you took 2 out of 3 from Tennessee. You got a really good start from Kason Evans that week. You got a really good start from William Schmidt that week. Your bullpen was really solid. I mean, Gavin Guidry gave you a long relief outing in that extra inning game. Marcos Paz had his first major, whoa moment that weekend. Cade Aaron-Beatty had the 4 home run game and never looked back. You put up 7 in your first win. You put up 16 in your last. It looked good, and you were 12. You were 6-6, 12 games in. You had 6 weekends left. You were 6-6, and everything was kind of pointing up. Oh, here comes the offense a little bit. Man, Evans and Schmidt looked really good. It was all there. 6-6. First 2 weeks didn't go the way you wanted, but here you are. You've pulled yourself back to 500. You got 6 weeks to play. Then you lost the midweek game to Bethune-Cookman. And then you went on the road and got swept at Ole Miss. And it was the way the sweep at Ole Miss happened. Kason Evans gave you a quality start that night in game 1, but the offense just wasn't quite there against Hunter Elliott. You had big defensive miscues in that game, fundamental miscues in that game, getting picked off, things of that nature, and you fell. You got run ruled the very next day and shut down by Cade Townsend. And then you got shut down by Taylor Rabe and fell behind 7-0 before a 7-run, was it an 8th inning, 7th or 8th inning, brought you back even before a defensive miscue allowed the ultimate winning run on base for Ole Miss. You went out there, the offense sputtered after a great weekend at Tennessee. The pitching staff sputtered after a really good weekend at Tennessee. You allowed an Ole Miss team that was second to last in batting average at that point in the season to score the most runs they ever had that year in a conference weekend against you, and you kicked the ball around and you got swept. After everything was looking up, you turned in an 0-4 week. And then you looked ahead and you saw A&M, State, Florida, Georgia, all still left. And it was that moment that I kind of looked at it and said, man, the flaws on this team are the flaws, and I don't think they're going to get any better. And this probably isn't going to end the way that many or most or all of you want it to end. And lo and behold, it didn't. I didn't see the crater that followed, but that weekend, it was pretty evident that they can have moments, but kind of are what you are at that point. And ultimately, it ended in the SEC tournament. Jay Johnson's got a lot of work to do this offseason, as does his staff going forward. I'd like to continue to sprinkle baseball in throughout this. So if you have questions, you can put them in the YouTube chat. I'll get to them kind of throughout the show. You can tweet them at me at Musso Matthew or X, or send them on the text line, 225-499-1045. If you have baseball questions or whatnot, text them in, and I'll kind of sprinkle them in throughout the show. We're going to do a lot of baseball here in the next few days on the show because, well, the offseason's here for LSU, and the portal's about to open and all those things. So if you have thoughts, just comments, keep the conversation going. Reach me any of those few ways, and that's greatly appreciated. It's going to be a fun offseason. We can finally talk about things that lend itself to the future, and the future always brings hope. So that's conversation around LSU baseball now should be a lot more cheerful than they were for the bulk of this year. All right, we're going to grab a break, come back on the other side, go around the SEC. Theriot still here in about half an hour. He'll talk some baseball with us as well. That's all next here on a Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
AFR.
Buying or selling, commercial or residential, think real estate, think Darren James. You want an unbelievable customer service experience? You want Darren James. It's part of his core values for Darren and his team. Darren tells me all the time, as long as I've known Darren, he said, my goal one day is to put myself out of business. I want to create such a turnkey, seamless, easy process for people to be able to buy and sell homes that they don't even need me anymore. Well, as Darren continues on that path in the meantime, he's going to help you sell your home. So if you need to sell your home, you want a realtor that quite literally sells more homes than anyone, you want Darren James. Last year, Wall Street Journal is listed the top 1% of realtors in America, Darren James. So need to sell your home fast for the most amount of money? You need Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
At Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer, we know you deserve value when you purchase equipment. Right now, take advantage of the powerful 3025E tractor for just $297 a month, with 0% financing for 72 months. Tractor packages with a trailer also available. Whether you're tackling land, property, or projects, get your job done. Don't wait. This offer ends June 30th, 2026. Some restrictions apply. Visit sunequip.com or stop by a Sunshine location today.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
My father, J.B. Faugu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Faugu.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped?
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Love telling you about Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, arco.com, arco.com. That's Arco Power Systems. We talk about generators a lot in Louisiana, especially all along the Gulf Coast, where we're sort of in this storm belt right here in the Gulf Coast. Well, of course, a lot of people have home standby generators. When we talk about Arco Power Systems, these are not home standby generators. This is industrial generator power. This is for your business. I mean, just think about it. When the power goes out, be it a hurricane, an ice storm, snow like we had last year, power goes out. What do you do with your business? Well, being offline is not an option. That's why you need Arco Power Systems. ARCCO, arco.com, arco.com, arco.com. Just look at all the locations. Baton Rouge, Bossier, Harvey, Lake Charles, Mandeville, Mobile, LaPorte, Texas, San Antonio, Little Rock, Houston, Dallas. They're everywhere. So if you're a business and you need standby power for your business, you need Arco Power Systems. ARCCO, arco.com, arco.com, arco.com.
Get you an update here from Hoover, Alabama in the SEC baseball tournament. Rain delays in Hoover just kind of go hand in hand, right? And this is the first one, so made it all the way till Friday. They did have to move games up yesterday, obviously. But all the way to Friday, Arkansas and Texas, they are in a rain delay. That game was supposed to get started about 30 minutes ago. They do have a scheduled first pitch now, 4:32 p.m. Central Time. And I'm going to take this opportunity to say this. We all love LSU baseball. We all want them to keep playing. Like, look, I already miss it. I missed it as soon as the season ended on Wednesday. But LSU would have been playing today had they beat Auburn, and they would have been the second game of the day, and it would have been another really, really late night, staying up, watching the team, and being at the ballpark. So, dodged a bullet there, I suppose. Yeah, I want them to play as long as they possibly can always, but man. Whew. Look up at the screen, see Todd Walker and Peter Burns and Jared Mitchell and Luch, and just go like, oh, those poor guys. They're going to be there a long, long, long time. Let's get weird tonight at Hoover, though, between Texas A&M and Auburn. You're going to be playing that late? Get weird. Weird things have to happen at that point. We'll head to Hoover later in the show in the 5 o'clock hour. Catch up with Chris Marler, LouisianaSports.net. And I guess Marler's got to be working his way up to like co-host of Off the Bench now. I feel like he's in there at least once every week with either Jake or with Matt, or hell, with both of them at some time. I mean,
it doesn't stop, man.
Yeah, I mean, Marler's experiencing the SEC baseball tournament for the first time. So this is also his first rain delay experience there. We'll kind of check in with him, see how the event's going and things of that nature. In the meantime, though, let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the South Carolina Gamecocks.
South Carolina and North Carolina have mutually agreed to cancel their upcoming home football series. It was set to take place in 2028 and 2029. The Tar Heels are going to play at William Brice in 2028, and the Gamecocks are going to return the trip there in 2029 to Keenan Memorial. That is no more. South Carolina replaces the September contest in 2028 with Bowling Green out of the MAC. So a little MACtion there to open the year. It'll be the first meeting between the Falcons and the Gamecocks on the football field.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Kentucky stays hot on the recruiting trail. 3-star edge Griff Galloway. Great name there, Griff Galloway. He's pledged to Kentucky here late on Thursday. 6'3", 240-pound edge out of Charlotte. Chose Kentucky over the likes of Clemson, Florida, Nebraska, Notre Dame, Texas A&M, and others. 18th pledge, third this week for Kentucky. Number 625 overall player, according to Rivals, 22nd ranked player out of the state of North Carolina.
Texas A&M!
Mike Elko and the Aggies, they got themselves one. 2027 tight end Holden Nemi announces his commitment to Texas A&M. First tight end commit for 2027 for the Aggies. He's out of Michigan. Held offers from Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Indiana, Miami, Ohio State, Tennessee, all the top name schools that you would want. Just a 3-star, number 38 tight end in the country. Again, you look at those offers. would imagine he's going to ride. Checks every box, checks in as the number 12 player in the state of Michigan.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
And one basketball note here with the local flair. Mississippi State added a commitment from forward Ashton McGee as a late transfer. You might say, what's the local flair? Well, he spent his freshman season at Southern. He'll have 3 years of eligibility remaining as a freshman for the Jaguars. The 6'7" forward played in 31 games, 350 minutes, averaged 3 points and 2 rebounds. 6th transfer portal addition for Chris Jans and Mississippi State. And there you have it. That is around the SEC. It's after further review here on a Friday edition presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Musso in for Moscona as we drive you home and send you into your Memorial Day weekend. Get your Memorial Day plans in the chat. Tell us what you got going on. Text 225-499-1045. It's your Memorial Day plans. We'll mix in ours as well before we get out of here. I'm very much looking forward to it, and a very heartfelt thank you to the men and women who obviously defend this country and who we honor on Memorial Day. We're able to do that because of their sacrifice. So a thank you, obviously, to all the servicemen and women out there defending the red, white, and blue and wearing it proudly. It's one of my favorite holidays. I like Memorial Day weekend a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm more of a Labor Day weekend though, just because it's right around football season. It's not football,
but that's the thing with Labor Day weekend.
Yeah,
it's become so overrun with football now.
Yeah,
that I feel like beach and all that and barbecue maybe not the same as it is for Labor Day. To me, just doesn't feel like a summer holiday.
No, it doesn't at all.
Like Memorial Day, 4th of July,
yeah, grilling,
yeah. Pool,
yeah,
beach, like all of those things. Labor Day just doesn't feel like, and maybe it's because we all work on Labor Day.
Yeah, we labor on Labor Day
because it's the football week 1 season of college football, right? I mean, hell, 2 years ago, LSU was playing the Sunday of that weekend, so it was literally the day after the first game. So maybe it just doesn't feel like that to me, anymore. But the summer holidays, man.
Yeah,
I love them. They're great.
It's a nostalgia factor, though, with the summertime.
That's true, too, because Memorial Day rolled around. It was really your first holiday of summer when school was out.
School just got out.
4th of July was kind of like that last.
Right around the corner.
Right, and it was that last, big summer holiday before you went back to school in August. So, yeah, for sure. There's the nostalgia factor. The nostalgia factor in it, too.
Goosebumps.
Summer holidays, because that's the thing. Everybody loves Christmas, Thanksgiving, but the summer holiday, I feel like you just have to put them in their own.
The summertimes is like its own thing.
Yeah,
its own thing.
Yeah, for all the reasons we just went through. So, send into the show. Tell us your Memorial Day plans. We'll get to ours throughout. We'll kind of sprinkle that in. It's a fun day, man. It's a fun day. Extended weekend coming. I'm sure some of you, probably most of you, have already left work and have gotten your weekend started, or maybe you've headed off to vacation, beach, all those things. Now we appreciate you listening, however you are here on this holiday weekend. We'll grab a break. Come back on the other side. A pretty big change to the NFL schedule. We'll talk about that next to close out hour 1 of AFR.
After further review.
AFR is presented by Duplessis Pools. With all the rain we've been having, some of the puddles out there kind of look like pools, huh? Those puddles look like, get it? Puddles, a lot of water. No, sorry. You want the real thing? Duplessis Pools can build you a beautiful pool. DuplessisPools.com, DuplessisPools.com. Man, they're all over the region now. Incredible, the growth. One of the fastest growing pool builders in the country and one of the top pool builders in America as well. Pool and Spa Magazine last year rated Duplessis Pools number 26 in America in the top 50 pool builders in the country. What an incredible hat tip. That's based on the quality of their work, their customer service, customer reviews, incredible validation for Duplessis Pools. So thinking of putting in that pool, that outdoor kitchen, any type of way to beautify your outdoor space. You want to add a putting green, they can do that as well. It's DuplessisPools.com, DuplessisPools.com.
Another roof, gone too soon. Looks like neglect. There's no doubt about it. This is a case of poor installation. At Pelican Roofing, we don't guess. We investigate to find the real cause of your roof's problems. Call Pelican Roofing for your free roof investigation today. Case closed.
Every Raising Cane's chicken finger is marinated, battered by hand, and cooked to order to perfection. We don't have heat lamps, because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinecenterla.com.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized, it'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. You know, when we talk about Relief Windows every day, I always say windows, doors, siding. And now shutters as well. They do your indoor shutters. Same thing as the windows. Custom made, measured to fit your windows, custom fit for your windows, lifetime warranty on your windows, your shutters. But Brandon, you often hear say their number one product is customer satisfaction. And that's not just a catchy line. That's not a cliche phrase. Have an experience with Relief Windows and you'll understand. They go to the ends of the earth to make sure their customers are thrilled with the work they do. As a matter of fact, Relief Windows never takes $1 from you. You will not, no deposit, no down payment. They take all the risk. They will not take $1 until you're thrilled with the work they do. Who else does that? Only Relief Windows. Check them out online at ReliefWindows.com.
The NFL schedule was released a week ago, and if you were perusing it, you probably noticed that there is not one Monday night doubleheader this year. That's a decision that was made back in April at the NFL's annual league meetings that they would do away with the Monday night doubleheader. Jordan, did you get this audio out of my folder? Sorry, I meant to tell you that in the break. That's my fault. Peter Schrager hosts the Schrager Hour. It's a podcast that he does, and he had Mike North on in the most recent episode. Mike North, if you're not, if you don't know who that is, you're not supposed to. Mike North is the vice president of broadcast planning for the National Football League. He basically makes the broadcast schedule. And when North sat down with Peter Schrager, they talked about doing away with the Monday Night Football doubleheader.
Yes, the Monday night doubleheaders are a thing of the past. I don't know why that didn't work, quite honestly. I thought it was fun. I thought it was good for us. That Monday night game, if it wasn't your game on Monday, would have been Sunday at 1 among 8 or 9 or 10 other games. You probably weren't going to get to watch it anyway. So having it on Monday, a national broadcast, watch it, don't watch it, flip back and forth, split screen, watch one, tape one, whatever. It just didn't work. The fans didn't appreciate it, and it probably wasn't a good use of an NFL asset.
This is interesting to me because I liked the Monday Night Football doubleheader. And I understand what he's saying there with, man, if it wasn't going to be on Monday night, it was going to be stuck at 1 o'clock on Sunday, and the fans of that team would get to see it, but everybody else around the country really wouldn't. So put it in a broadcast window. The problem is it wasn't always standalone. You heard him back at the back end of that cut say flip back and forth. He also said tape it, which I don't think anybody tapes live television anymore in 2026. But if you do, good on you. And go back and watch it later with that. But that really is the point there, right? You're forced to choose. The Monday night doubleheader that I liked was the staggered one. Like, go back to week 2 this past year, and you had it in 4 weeks. You had 4 Monday night doubleheaders. Week 2, you had the Bucs at the Texans, which was a really good game. It was 20-19. It was a really good football game. And then your back half of that was the Chargers at the Raiders, which wasn't as good, but it was staggered. I loved it. I went home, watched Bucs Texans, got ready for bed, laid in bed, watched the West Coast game too. Like, that's really fun. The problem is when you end up like you did in week 4, when you had the concurrent doubleheader, Jets, Dolphins, Bengals, Broncos. I mean, those are running simultaneously, and what it did is it impacted their ratings. For example, the league's week 1 broadcast in 2024 drew 20.5 million viewers across ESPN, ABC, ESPN2, compared to just 20.5 million, or excuse me, compared to just 15 million the week after when you had the doubleheader, because fans were having to pick the game. And where those numbers get boosted is the simulcast of ABC. It's over-the-air television. Everyone's going to see that. When you had the doubleheader, you couldn't simulcast on ABC. And Mike North talked a little bit about that when he talked about now redistributing the Monday Night Football assets, as he put it.
So take those assets back, deploy them, redeploy them now. 2 of those 4 went to Netflix for the Wednesday night and then Sunday of week 18, Saturday of week 18. And the other 2 went to broadcast. So it's not like everything goes to streamers. They went to broadcast. And I think the upside to Monday night now is, instead of having, to bifurcate your resources, all eyes on the big Monday night game, simulcast it on ABC, good for Peyton and Eli on the Manning cast. You got some big games on Monday Night Football this year. Let's get everybody pulling in the same direction.
Do people still watch the Manning cast? I feel like the shine is off of that.
It's off.
Right?
I don't watch it no more.
But they keep doing it, so some people must still be tuning in. But there you go. Like, in the first call we played, he said he didn't know why it didn't work. Well, yeah, you do. You just explained why it didn't work in the second half of that. Fans were conflicted. They had to pick. When you have one Monday night game, they don't have to pick. Or when you have the staggered, they don't have to pick. But the Monday Night Football doubleheader is going to go away. I'm a little bummed. I liked it just because it's football. And who didn't like, even when you had the 2 running congruent with each other, parallel of each other there, opposite, whatever you want to say, when it was halftime in one game, they'd at least stagger the start. So halftime in one game, you could switch over to the other. I liked it. Jordan, Paul, did y'all like the Monday Night Football doubleheader?
I was more of a stagger guy. I didn't like when they both started at the same time.
Yeah.
I would only like it if the other game was trash. That was only good. The other game was trash.
Yeah, but again, that hurts their ratings too, right? Because everyone's just going to
switch
tune
over
out of that and switch over. Paul, do you like it?
I did not like it.
Okay.
I feel like Monday Night Football is like
one game.
It's the one game. It's
Yeah.
Monday Night Football. That's the one you're locked into. So I did not like it.
That's fair. I mean, that's a very fair point. I mean, yeah, you should have that stage for the one game. They will going forward. Send your thoughts in. Did you like the Monday night doubleheader? Will you miss it? YouTube chat. You can tweet at me. Text 499-1045. Just interesting discussion there. Because I mean, it's something we had kind of become accustomed to, but it certainly seems like the majority of the fans weren't for it. And the NFL, they've made the necessary change. We're going to grab a break. Come back on the other side. Sports Center will get you caught up on the national headlines. And then Ryan Theriot hops aboard with us. We'll talk some baseball with the Riot to kick off hour number 2 here on a Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
After further review.
Quick reminder about Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. They're the best. If you are, gentlemen, thinking about popping the question and you're thinking about where am I going to go buy that diamond, I want you to consider this. There are places that will sell you man-made lab diamonds, but what are you buying? It's according to its makeup and characteristics, sure, diamond. But is it going to hold its value? Like, is that the way you want to say, I love you, I want to spend the rest of my life with you? Go to Lee Michaels. Go to Lee Michaels. Walk in the door. Experience the thing I talk about all the time, which is the Lee Michaels experience. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry with 10 locations. Baton Rouge, 2 locations in Baton Rouge. New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, Mississippi, Texas as well. 10 locations across 3 states. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her, gentlemen. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know each case and client are unique, and that no 2 cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
This is SportsCenter.
Upshot rider NASCAR driver Kyle Busch experienced shortness of breath, felt he was overheating, and was coughing up blood the day before his death, according to a 911 call obtained today by the Associated Press. Busch died yesterday at 41 years old. No cause of death has been given. NBA Game 3 of the West Finals tonight in San Antonio, with the Spurs taking on the Thunder, and the series even at 1 as the Spurs look to bounce back after their Game 2 loss. San Antonio star big man Victor Wembanyama says they have to focus on the game plan.
It's all in the scouting. I have to trust the scouting. We have to trust it and do our work early. It's it's a straight effort.
And Game 3 of the West Finals between the Spurs and Thunder is tonight on ESPN Radio and the app, with coverage starting at 8 Eastern. San Antonio guard Dylan Harper, a game-time decision with a right adductor injury. And the Spurs are currently a 1.5-point favorite. It's been 2 years since the Thunder have been underdogs in the playoffs. Day baseball at Wrigley, they're heading to the 9th. The Astros lead the Cubs 4-2.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ Chris Candy coming up Monday as NFL OTAs continue to roll on. I'll tell you the storylines I'm most paying attention to this week. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Off and running, hour number 2 after further review, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Musso in for Moscona. Jordan Kitchens, Paul O'Neill along for the ride, and fired up to have you along for the ride as well. 1 hour in the books, 2 more to go. Send you in to a Memorial Day weekend. Love a good holiday weekend. Tarp is off the field in Hoover. They'll get started in about 30 minutes from right now. The chalk lines are painted. Teams are in their dugouts. Texas and Arkansas, 30 minutes away from starting the quarterfinals of the SEC tournament. LSU saw their season come to an end in the SEC tournament on Wednesday night. 3-1, they fell to Auburn. Ryan Theriot, normally with us here on Fridays, whole hour. Couldn't make the whole hour, but said, hey, come hop on with you, talk some ball. Ryan, we appreciate it as always, man. How are you?
News, I'm great, buddy. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Like I said, holiday weekend. Looking forward to it. Love Memorial Day. Normally a big weekend for baseball, though, with the SEC tournament and the selection show. LSU won't hear their name called on that show for the first time since 2011. It's been a long time, and now they'll have to start a new streak. I kind of just want to leave it really open-ended for you. Why did it go so wrong for LSU this year?
Man, this was a culmination of a lot of things, and you know, we've touched on many of them. I will bore the audience and just say a few of them that I believe. You know, I think that first off, the portal and the College World Series timing is ridiculous, and there needs to be some things done with the tampering. I also think that the draft timing is another thing that's an issue, and that's in all sports. I think that Jay Johnson and the LSU staff are the best at going out there and finding talent. But when you have an opportunity to win in Omaha and you decide to take your eye off that prize and go hit the recruiting trail or make late-night phone calls, I think you're selling yourself short. I mean, the goal for the whole thing is to win the last game that you play. And look, man, if I got to trade a championship for a down year, because that's the way that the timing sets up and what's going to happen, then I'll do it every day of the week and twice on Sundays.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the college baseball calendar because it stinks. It does. And it's horrible. And there's going to be some changes coming. I don't think it's going to be portal, but you brought the draft up. And as soon as you went into the portal, I plan to ask you about the draft.
Yeah.
They've moved it to July, which in theory is great because the players can focus on baseball. They're not having to play super regionals and worry about getting drafted. But then again, that is a very select few of the players that have to worry about that. What you lose is the portal. Like, you have guys leave that maybe you weren't expecting to, or guys end up in the draft. Are you in favor of moving that back to June and super regional weekend? Because, I mean, look, you went through this.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, and you're 1,000% right. There's maybe, 30 or 40 guys that's going to affect, and you would hope that their character is high enough to where, it doesn't affect their play. I'm fearful of the day, though, if it does get moved back, where you see kids opting out. I mean, we're seeing it in football. I mean, I don't have the answer for it, but yeah, I mean, that's what I would do. The timing with the portal and everything just makes it really, really difficult, man. And look, here's another thing, and I know that we've added a few paid coaches for baseball, but I mean, I go to these basketball games, man, and they got more freaking coaches than they do players, okay?
Yeah.
You've got, LSU just brought my man Ronald Dupree on as a general manager. The fact that the LSU baseball team doesn't have a paid general manager that can go out there and help do some of these things for Jay and the boys is an absolute joke. All of that falls on their shoulders from it's a salary, basically a salary negotiation. It's a roster management. It's, by the way, we got to coach the team too. It's just a lot, man. And look, I'll state the obvious. They missed in the transfer portal. Why did they miss? I'm going to think and say that it's because we were trying to win a national championship. I know that the dollar amount that LSU was given to go spend this year was not even close to comparative to the other folks that we had to play against. And so that has been rectified, I believe. And I think they'll have a little bit more cash to play with, but ultimately it was just, you had some guys that we had hoped that would have great years on the mound that just didn't. And then the transfer portal didn't work out, man.
I want to ask you about the portal in a moment, but one more about kind of this season before we start to look forward. And I'll ask you a question that was asked of me earlier. Was there a moment this season where you were watching that it kind of set in for you that you were like, probably not going to end the way they want it to this year?
Yeah, and I can't identify the exact moment, but I remember the game, because my memory stinks with stuff like that. But I remember watching, and Caraway swung at a ball that was about 8 feet outside of the batter's box. In that game, York didn't have a great game either. And I was just sitting there thinking, man, I heard these names this offseason, and, these guys can't, they can't bring us to Omaha. I mean, and I'm not taking shots at the kids, but it just is what it is. I mean, they didn't do what they were supposed to do, or we had hoped that they would do. On the bright side, I think Omar Cerna is unbelievable. Maybe going to be a top 3 pick, and going to play in the major leagues for a long time. I think Cade Arambidi is going to play in the major leagues for a long time. I think that William Schmidt and Kason Evans also are big leaguers, and you've got some freshmen that were able to come in. The biggest problem for this team too was there was no real core group of guys. You didn't have a returning core of 3 or 4 starters that you could pencil in and then build around those guys. We didn't have the luxury of doing that. Next year they do. I mean, you've got William Patrick, and I mentioned Arambidi and Cerna. You've got Jack Ruckert. You've got Schmidt and Evans. You've got a core group. So the job is much easier for Jay. Now he can just supplement around those guys.
And that's the thing we kind of talked about all the way down the stretch, right? Is you got these young guys, a lot of action, and they had success. It didn't necessarily turn into wins, but they had success. And the other thing, Ryan, that I mentioned earlier, man, is early in the year, the response from this team wasn't great. That improved over the course of this thing, where they were fighting tooth and nail and showing up to the ballpark believing they were going to win, even though it wasn't happening for them. And I look at that and I say, man, that's what a championship culture is built upon too, is these guys going through this battle and realizing that, man, you got to go up there and fight and play and compete every single day regardless. It makes it a lot easier to do when you're winning in the future.
look, you can take this however you want, but when you're born and raised here in Louisiana, it means putting on that uniform means something for you. And essentially what happened was you took a couple guys out that weren't from here necessarily, and you put in 2 freshmen that were from here. And putting on that jersey, like you just said, meant something to them. And they made mistakes. They did things. I saw Jack make an unbelievable play a couple days ago and then just rushed to throw to third base. And I felt so bad for him because I saw myself doing that. Like, that was something that I would have done as a freshman, and but also he'll go first to third, and he's going to give you a great at bat. I mean, that is exciting for me. You've got a couple more guys coming as well that I think can bring that intensity that you're talking about, that ultimately builds character and wins championships.
Man, that play by Ruckert was almost.
It was great.
It was so. I mean, it's hard to fault him for it. I mean, it was a really high IQ play for a freshman to realize that I don't have a play at first base. Let me see if I can get the guy at third. It kind of looked like it was almost like he felt, oh crap, he's actually far enough off the base at third, and he just But I've
done it. I've done it 20 times. And Skip used to. I mean, boy, he used to get so mad at me. He would say, boy, you can screw up a game in a million different ways, can't you? But I felt for him because you're right. Like, it was. He's going to be great, and he's going to go down as being an awesome player, a winner for us, and it's going to be fun to watch.
All right, so that's a pretty good segue into this offseason and what you think they do, because you just mentioned the guys from here who love to wear the jersey, the core that they have. Jay has mentioned retention, and that being their main goal, but we also know that they're going to go into the transfer portal. They need to go into the transfer portal to get a few pieces that can really make a difference. What balance do you think Jay tries to strike this year between retention and portal?
I mean, Muse, I think he loads up on arms. I mean, I think you have to. I mean, they flashed the stat on the TV when we were watching the games. SEC, I mean, we're dead last in every category from a pitching standpoint. So, I mean, I would say that, you've got Evans and Schmidt and maybe 2 or 3 more guys that'll stick around. But I think we're going to see a new look pitching staff, both starters as well as bullpen, and that's got to be the focus for me.
One more. Does that worry you? Because, I mean, a lot of the times it does go so bad and everybody wants to just blow it up, right? Blow it all up, start from scratch. But sometimes that doesn't work either. I mean, is there a level of concern for you there with such an overhaul of the pitching staff?
Well, you've got 2 guys. You've got 2 guys that are going to be really good. So that piece of it doesn't really scare me. No, I think you've got. I think you go get a bunch, man. I mean, I just and you just kind of see what happens, and it's going to take some time probably for everything to pan out and see what's what. But I mean, I don't think you have a choice. That doesn't scare me. The pitching piece doesn't scare me nearly as much as going to get a hitter and seeing if that's going to translate from a different league, because the stuff is the stuff, I watched I think it was the Big Ten tournament last night. It was Ohio State and Michigan, which is a different level of ball for sure. But they had 2 or 3 arms. Dude, they had 2 or 3 arms. I'm like, man, we could have used those guys. Young guys that and it's going to play at any level. It really will.
It's fascinating to watch how accessible velocity and stuff is around the country now in college baseball. Like it's absurd. So, man, it's going to be, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be an interesting offseason because now it's all towards the future, and the future brings hope, and the conversations can be exciting again around LSU baseball. Ryan, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for carving out a segment here to hop on with us and finish out the season.
All right, Muse. Have a good one, bud. Thank you.
Later, man. That's Theriot. We're set to grab a break, but first, a word from Matt about Rouse's.
Memorial Day weekend is here, and however you and your family are choosing to honor our heroes, make sure you swing in to Rouse's because they've got everything you want. Maybe you're heading out to the beach or the lake. Rouse's has all that you'll need, from ice and drinks to something to throw on the grill. Speaking of the grill, maybe you'll be spending this weekend by the pool and throwing some meat on the grill. They got you covered with steaks and burgers and dogs and chips and dips and all the sides. Hey, look, maybe you're making your grocery run this weekend. Make sure you get by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the Saints. Rouse's takes great pride in sourcing locally with their Rouse's branded products. And of course, Rouse's takes great pride in our country and our heroes, which is why we celebrate Memorial Day. So this Memorial Day, however you and your family are celebrating, just know that whatever you're looking for, Rouse's has got it. You can start at the website at rouses.com to check out the specials or check out their Facebook page. Happy Memorial Day from Rouse's. This feels like home.
All right. Theriot got me thinking there with a couple things that I want to come back to. We'll stay on time here and stay on the rundown. I have some time in the 5 o'clock hour to kind of circle back to some of the comments that he made with the portal that definitely got me thinking. So we'll do that a little bit later in the show. Right now, we're going to grab a break. We'll come back, talk some LSU football here on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, two beautiful hotel properties in Baton Rouge, the Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown right there on Bluebonnet. And when it comes to hosting your event, both the Watermark and the Renaissance are perfect. The Watermark is a gorgeous, elegant spot in downtown Baton Rouge. That wedding reception, that smaller gathering, that meeting space, they can do it. They've kept so much of the history and tradition of that iconic building while modernizing it. The Gregory is a great restaurant inside of the Watermark as well. And then, of course, the Renaissance Hotel, Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge. It's more modern. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous hotel property at the Renaissance Hotel, where they have meeting space that can accommodate up to 500 people, 7,000 square foot of meeting space, perfectly located right off of Bluebonnet and I-10. It's the Watermark and the Renaissance Hotels in Baton Rouge.
Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 25 Jeep Grand Cherokee with $15,000 off MSRP.
Plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injections. Love telling you about River Parish Contractors. rpcontractors.com is the website if you're looking for work, or you may not even know you're looking for work. River Parish Contractors, you need to make this call. Call Big Jake over at River Parish Contractors because they got tons of work lined up. So you want overtime? They got as much overtime as you want. So you never have to. A lot of places want to hire, give you a good rate,
but they don't want you to work overtime. Not a River Parish Contractors. They got as much overtime as you want to work. You want to work night shifts when it's cooler? You could do that. You want to work day shifts? Got it. Look, there's no rainouts. They have amazing benefits. They've got PTO. If you're a welder, pipe fitter, pipe cutter, you got to get in touch with my friends over at River Parish Contractors. Call Big Jake or go to rpcontractors.com, rpcontractors.com. Right there in Reserve, River Parish Contractors, rpcontractors.com.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
All right, back here after Further Review. Thanks to Ryan Theriot for hopping on with us there. Talks a little bit of LSU baseball, kind of put a button on the season. We'll circle back to that conversation a little bit later on in the show. They are about 10 minutes away from getting underway in Hoover in the SEC tournament, Texas and Arkansas. They're in a quarterfinal. LSU football. When you think of LSU football in 2026, there's a few things that come to mind. One of them, transfers. Because you brought in a bunch of them. Number one class in the nation. Of course, you had that a year ago. We know what happened. Different regime. Everything trending up. The offseason. Hope springs eternal. The other thing that springs in the offseason is people's opinions and lists and all of those things. And we make fun of that a lot here on this show. And that's actually how this segment started when I was looking through it earlier today. I'm scrolling the internet. I see Tom Fornelli's favorite transfers, 5 impact players who can tilt the 2026 season for their new teams. And I saw that and I said, Sam Leavitt for LSU, like every list. I'll click on it and just check, but Sam Leavitt for LSU, like every list. And it's not that I don't think Sam Leavitt's going to be massively important for LSU. He will be. And I think he has a great chance to have a great year for LSU, provided the health and the foot and all of that is where it needs to be. So I don't say that in a condescending way towards Sam Leavitt. He's massively important for LSU. He's the quarterback. Like, I understand that. I say it, it's just because that's the pick that everybody puts forth because of everything that we just went through, how massively important that he is. And you can only talk about that so many times. So imagine my surprise when I opened the list and saw Jordan Seaton as the LSU player to make the list. And that got me thinking. Because if you look back at LSU's 2025 team, what was the undoing? It was the offensive line. We don't actually need to play the hypothetical and you answer the question in the car. No, it was the offensive line. The offensive line was atrocious. You couldn't run the football. Your quarterback got sacked over and over and over again. Yes, Garrett Nussmeier being injured obviously derailed your season as well, but even a healthy Garrett Nussmeier was probably going to take a step back behind that offensive line unit that you had. And it's a lot of turnover there, which is a similar deal to what you had leading into 2025. I mean, you replaced 3 of the 5 starters. That's better than 4 out of the 5, but you replaced 3 out of the 5. And you brought in 2 really big transfers to do it. One of them was Jordan Seaton. And look, Jordan Seaton, top offensive tackle in the portal, guy who started 22 games at Colorado over the last 2 seasons at left tackle, guy's projected to be a first-round draft pick. He is the can't-miss prospect. You brought in Ba from Maryland. That's a guy who has 1,500 career snaps. Now going into his 5th year at right guard. He should slot in there great. And all the rage out of spring was the offensive line improvement. Listen to Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin in spring talking about the improvement of the offensive line and how drastic it was.
Yeah, I think that offensively position has probably developed the best, through a couple weeks and, has played well together. And in my opinion is dramatically improved from when we got here. So that's probably been the one bright spot as you re-looked at the film. Now again, like I said, I have really high standards and expectations, and we're not tackling, so that obviously creates more yards because there's missed tackles within a game and you feel a little better. But I think the offensive line is coming along really well.
You love hearing that. We all do. But it's the end of that bite that gives me pause. It was spring, and it wasn't a very physical spring. They didn't tackle one time. How can you really get a sense of your O-line and the physicality without that? You can't, not at least in spring. And look, that will ratchet up. They'll get that in fall camp, and we'll really be able to see them work. But it's the work that's the sign of the improvement. And yes, you brought in what looked like can't miss prospects in Jordan Seaton and Ba, as we talked about from Maryland. Better than what you brought in a year ago. Look, Braylon Moore, that worked out really well. He's back. He's your center. That's retention. That's awesome. A year ago, LSU counted a lot on pieces they had in the program, and they didn't hit. They didn't develop the way that you thought they would, and it never really got better throughout the season. So for him to talk about development, I like hearing that already, even without the physicality. And that is going to give me pause every time until I see them go out there and hit people for real in games and see how this unit functions together. So I will be firmly in believe it when I see it mode, with the offensive line up until that point. I like that you brought in the can't miss prospects. I like that they settled on their 5. Seaton, Bordelon emerged at left guard. We can talk about him here in a second. Moore, Ba, Weston Davis. You saw that run out there more often than not in spring. Because while you're not hitting, while the physicality isn't there at this portion of the offseason, they can still work together. They can still get that continuity. You didn't see that from LSU's offensive line, even in fall camp a year ago. So if I'm looking for signs that I go, all right, that can make me believe a little bit, that's one of them. That those 5 really got to play the majority of spring together. I mean, what was it in a week leading up to the opener? You rotated in Carius Kern with the ones at right tackle a year ago. It's a week before you're going to play the game. Continuity's huge there. And then you look at a guy like Bo Bordelon who really emerged, who's been in the program for a while and emerged. That shows development. This was Lane Kiffin back in spring on the emergence of Bordelon. What? Oh, okay. We can come back to it. But that's like, if you're looking for things that make you believe, that's one of them. The emergence there of a guy who has spent a lot of time in the program, has waited his turn, got some opportunities in bowl games, and then really took hold of that left guard job here. Again, Lane Kiffin in spring on Bordelon.
He's just done a really good job. We moved him into guard and had a competition going there, and as of Saturday, won it, even though obviously we're not playing a game. But we don't just make a depth chart and you stay there. If you get outplayed, we move the depth chart, daily. And he's been doing a great job and deserved the right to go in there and start, and did a good job and play tackle and guard. And I think coaching, that has nothing to do with whoever the coaches were before. Nothing to do with that. Coaching always, sometimes fresh starts are good for players, and guys come in and see different things or a different system. And our line coaches have been really excited about him from day one working. James Craig had a background with him back from when he was in high school, and so he's done a good job.
They gloat about it. And I love the way we make a depth chart. It's not just you stay there. And again, that doesn't that go to what we were talking about getting all those reps with those 5? That's another sign to be, all right, yeah, that can work. You'll have Weston Davis back. Not a finished product. We know that. Had some moments late in the year. And Lane Kiffin, when he talked about him in the spring, talked about consistency. He just needs to be more consistent. So you've seen those 5 really get a lot of work throughout the spring. They'll continue to go into the summer and into the fall. And the other part of this is now continue to develop year 2s. Because injuries happen, especially on the offensive line. If you go all the way through a football season without an injury on your offensive line, you're going to like the way that season ends for you. It remains one of, for me, probably the second biggest storyline for this LSU offseason is how that unit develops. Because Sam Leavitt, yes, that's the biggest storyline, but he might not be fully ready to go week 1 with his full arsenal. He'll play, but it's probably going to take him time to get back used to the game flow and the speed of football and getting hit. Having a really good offensive line in front of him makes that transition back into the game a lot easier for him. We'll continue to watch it all throughout the summer and into fall camp. The offensive line for the second straight year, really, really intriguing for LSU. All right, we're due for a break here, but first, Parish Restoration. Matt?
AFR is brought to you by Parish Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor, other harmful pathogens, commercial or residential. As a matter of fact, Parish Restoration, I love the process, by the way. If you go to the website at parishrestoration.com, you can see videos of their patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. So you see exactly what it looks like. Very cool. But they have fogged, over at Parish Restoration, they fogged one of the largest buildings in the entire state of Louisiana. So it doesn't matter if it's your office building, your church, whatever it may be, school, or your home. They can even fog your car. Maybe your car has a weird odor, musty smell. Maybe you bought a used car from a smoker and you can't get that smoky smell out. This will do it. They'll come while you're at work, fog it. By the time you're done with work for the day, boom, you're back in a clean-smelling, fresh-smelling vehicle. It's Parish Restoration. Learn more at parishrestoration.com. Parishrestoration.com. Do business with someone you know. Parishrestoration.com.
All right, we're going to grab a break, come back on the other side. We're halfway home here on a Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We'll continue the football talk, but we'll flip it to the black and gold next here on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Sieg near Airline, LA 16 in Denham. Mid-City on Don Moore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. You know those 4 locations, and what an awesome time to get by Clegg's Nursery because they still have every single day shipments of flowers coming in, plants, trees, shrubs. You want to beautify the exterior of your home. You want to add that pop of color to your flower bed, to your patio pots. Maybe you got unwanted pests like ants or snakes or mosquitoes, wasps. They can help you take care of all of them. Maybe you got weeds coming up in your lawn. You want to get rid of that. Maybe you got dead spots in your lawn. The horticulturists, the professionals at Clegg's Nursery have the knowledge, the know-how, the expertise, and all the products you need to win Yard of the Month every month for your whole life. Guaranteed. Actually, I can't back that up. You have to do some of the work, too. It's Clegg's Nursery.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Ever wonder why cane sauce doesn't come in a pre-sealed packet? It's because it's made fresh inside every Raising Cane's every single day. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Brought to you by Parish Construction Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Tell you every day do business with someone you know. That's me and Theriot and Richard Tilley and Joe Morales and Trent Davis and our whole staff. And we appreciate everyone so much who's giving us the opportunity. Our commercial roofing manager, Matt Pearson, sent us all a text that we were just awarded a large commercial roofing job today, and they heard us talking about it. And yes, of course, at your home, any roof repair, replacement, we love to help you out. We can install gutters for you. We do soft wash, do all of it. But I want to remind you that we are a commercial roofing company as well. So if your commercial building needs a new roof or repair, you have any issues whatsoever, we have the best guy. We went and scoured the world and found Matt Pearson in Florida, and we brought him to Baton Rouge. I'm convinced there's not a soul alive that knows more about commercial roofing than Matt Pearson. So if your commercial building is having any roof issues, roof repair, replacement, or you just need options, trust me, have a conversation with Matt Pearson. We'd love to help you out. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com.
Back here, AFR, Friday edition, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Musso in for Moscona. Scona's back Wednesday. So we'll finish up the last hour and a half here. Take Memorial Day off. I'll be back in the chair on Tuesday, and then Scona's back on Wednesday. All right, let's talk some black and gold, some New Orleans Saints. And let's kind of dive into a conversation that's been asked a lot. CBS Sports, they posed one question for each top 2025 draft pick from a year ago. And for Tyler Shough, this shouldn't be a surprise with the question. It's the question everybody's asked. Can Tyler Shough show he's a franchise quarterback? So I want to dive into that a little bit and what that actually means. What would you consider Tyler Shough showing in 2026 that would give you the confidence and prove to you that, yes, he's the franchise quarterback for the New Orleans Saints going forward? That's where I want to take this question. And that's not this segment. And that's not a rhetorical question. I actually want you to answer. You can text in 499-1045. Send it to me on Twitter, Bayou Ford YouTube chat. I actually want feedback. Because I think there's two different ways to look at this, right? Tyler Shough, a year ago, finished second in Offensive Rookie of the Year voting, completed 67% of his pass, 2,300 yards, 10 touchdowns, 6 picks, the 4-1 record in the last 5 games. That's what everybody points to. And he did it with a mash unit around him, basically. The Saints were incredibly injured. I mean, you had Audric Estime running for 100 yards late in the season. That's where you were at the running back spot. Chris Olave was your only receiver. And that's what set the table now for this season, the expectation and this conversation. So I think there's two different ways to look at this. Can Tyler Shough become a franchise quarterback or show that he's the franchise quarterback? What do you need to see? I think there's two options. One, he goes out there, has a great year, the Saints win the division, and they go to the playoffs. I think we could all agree if Tyler Shough does that in his first full season starting, we would all look and go, yep, he's the guy. He's the guy for Kellen Moore's offense. He's the guy for this franchise going forward. But let's be honest, that's a long shot still of happening. Okay, the Saints are not the favorite to win the division in Vegas. Their win total is 7.5. And they're only favored in 5 games, even with their win total being 7.5. Vegas is telling you there's still a lot of losing probably ahead for the New Orleans Saints in 2026. So if that's your bar, right, if that's where you're looking at Tyler Shough and going, for him to prove to me he's the franchise quarterback, he needs to do that, win the division, take you to the playoffs in his first full season starting, you're probably going to be disappointed. Because while the Saints did a lot offensively to help Tyler Shough, I have questions about the defense still. Demario Davis is gone. And he was still an extremely productive player. He was a team leader for you. The team leader for you. With all due respect to Caden Ellis, you don't just walk in and replace that. Even with somebody who, in Ellis, was productive, and you saw, him in this, franchise before with Davis, that's still really difficult to replace. Cam Jordan, what does his future hold? It's a guy who had 10.5 sacks a year ago, or 10 sacks a year ago, in a veteran role, but again, another team leader. Chase Young, Carl Granderson, you bring in Wilson. You look like you've done well there, but you're still weak at cornerback. You weren't able to address that in the draft the way you wanted to. You've made some moves in free agency, right? With Martin. But that's still a question mark for me. And you know what? I think Brandon Staley's a great coach. I think he's going to have those boys playing some really good defense at some point this year. But that brings in the second option for Tyler Shough. Let's say Tyler Shough goes out there, completes 65% or above of his passes yet again, starting a full season, throws for more than 3,000 yards. I'd say 3,500 and up. Touchdown to interception ratio improves a little bit. Touchdown number goes up. But you don't win the division and you miss the playoffs because you dropped a key game here or there. And maybe your deficiencies defensively were a little tougher. Or, hell, your offensive line got hurt again. But Tyler Shough goes out there, puts up great numbers. The Saints have a successful offensive year, but they fall just short of the playoffs. I'll tell you right now, for me, that would do it. I would leave that season thinking, all right, no, they got some holes to fill around him still. But Tyler Shough's really got something to him now. You saw it in the back half of his first year, and now you saw it for a full year, and the numbers were there, and the production is there, and it didn't lead to all the wins you wanted to, but it really wasn't on Tyler Shough. That would give it to me, tell me that, all right, yeah, you've got a guy there. He can be the franchise quarterback that the Saints have been looking for since Drew Brees retired. And I'll tell you right now, while I think the Saints are more than capable of winning the NFC South because the division just isn't very good, and you beat the Panthers last year who won it, beat them twice, actually, and Bucks, you beat them. While I think they're capable of doing it, I think the latter scenario that we laid out is probably the more likely scenario. When you look at these early point spreads, when you look at their win total, when you look at their odds to win the division, as we said, Vegas is telling you there's still probably a lot of losing. But can you get value out of that losing, specifically with Tyler Shough? You've fixed everything around him offensively, you feel. He goes out, has the great season with that. You fall just short. Now you really go in on defense, and you go into the third year feeling really good that he's your franchise quarterback, and that maybe now you are the favorite in the division. Both of those would work for me, but I think the latter, the one we just discussed, is more likely. Let me know your thoughts. Jordan, do you have a thought there? What does Tyler Shough need to do to show you that he is the franchise quarterback?
All I really need from Shough this season, I just need, I'm going to say 8 to 9 wins. I'm not going to jump out the porch.
That would probably win the division.
Exactly. You know, we're not asking much out of the NFC South. We're not asking Tyler Shough to be on some Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. I don't need that. It's year 2. I'm more about the steady, gradual approach. He did a good job of not, limiting the turnovers. You want to see a year 2 leap, but I'm not over here like, man, he needs to jump out and become an MVP candidate. That's not where I'm at with it. I don't think that's what this team needs exactly yet, because a tale that I don't want the Saints to go down, I don't want the Saints to be like the Washington Commanders. How Jaden Daniels they kind of overexceeded expectations year 1, and they just put everything in, all right, we got to go for it year 2, and you see where they're at right now. They go sign on these old guys and they can make a run. So I don't want to rush the process. It's a process, and I'm just more about the steady, gradual approach. I feel like if you just start the season, I know it's the beginning of the season, but if you can split one of those 2 games,
that'd be huge.
Then I ain't gonna say I've seen enough, but like, all right, we're going in the right direction. If you can split between Detroit, and I think the second game was the Ravens.
Yes.
Detroit and the Ravens, yeah. If you can
both
split,
on the road.
Both on the road. So if you can start the season out 0-2 and Shough shows you something in one of those games, I'm not asking for both of them, but if you can split them, I can say we're moving in the right direction.
Okay, so you're kind of in between the 2 scenarios I laid out.
Yes.
Because I could pose it to you and be like, you said 8 or 9 wins. Their win total 7.5. What if they finish 7-10, but the offense has a really good year behind Tyler Shough?
Yeah, it depends on how it looks. I'll say that. It depends on how that 7-10 looks. Like if they're, I would accept that 7-10. Oh, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm accepting the 7-10. I will accept that 7-10 if they start off abysmal in the beginning of the year, and somehow, some way it'll be like a repeat of last year.
Yeah.
But they just, start winning down the stretch, and then.
But if Shough throws for over 3,000 yards, improves on the touchdowns,
I'm moved.
Like then you look at it and you go, okay, you have a few more holes to fill.
Yes.
And that, like, I'd love 8 or 9 wins. I think the 7-10 thing is the more likely scenario as we sit here right now. They haven't even started OTAs.
Yeah.
They open OTAs on Wednesday, which is going to be great and get to see them out there again. But it's just fascinating because, again, you can look at it from 2 different ways. What does Tyler Shough need to show you? We'll see what he does. But one thing's for sure. Optimism is about as high around the Saints right now as it has been since Sean Payton's last season. I think that's a fair assessment. That's a good place to be after, a 6-win season a year ago?
5.
A 5-win series season a year ago. That's right. They lost that last game to Atlanta. That would have got them.
It's kind of good, though.
11.
We got that 4th-place schedule.
That's true. You got the 4th-place schedule. And that could play into the 8 or 9 wins. So, it's going to be fascinating. It's fun to have these conversations around the Saints instead of, man, when are they going to fire Dennis Allen? All right, we're going to grab a break, come back on the other side. We'll wrap up hour number 2, Tigers in the pros. That's next here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Glow Resources. If you are a business owner, if you're an HR manager, a VP, an ops manager, if you're the person in charge of hiring at your job, at your place of business, and you're having trouble finding the right people, you need Glow Resources. And I want to remind you, Glow Resources, they're exceptional when it comes to skilled blue-collar workers and also white-collar divisions. Remember, Glow Resources has a full professional placement division. So we're talking about office administrators, executive-level assistants, assistant controllers, plant managers, scheduling assistants, basically any type of office job. Accounting, HR, marketing, managerial, supervisor roles. If you're having trouble finding those people and sometimes hard to fill roles, Glow Resources specialize. They recruit nationwide. For example, they had a Baton Rouge company that was looking for an engineer. They found the employee in Florida to work the job in California. It's Glow Resources. Check them out online today. GLO, glowresources.com.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. They will always find a way to get you the best possible price for the best possible tires on the road. That's what they do at Shawbills. And when they get you in by selling you the best tires at the cheapest price possible, they're going to treat you like family, and they're going to treat you so good you're going to keep coming back year after year after year every time you need anything for your vehicle. Tires rotated, oil changed, check engine light on, brakes squeaking, whatever's wrong with your vehicle, bring it to Shawbills. Let them give it the once-over, and you can always schedule online, so it's convenient. ShawBillsTire.com. Find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. Shop tires online at ShawBillsTire.com. Be sure to ask about the Shawbills credit card as well, because you can save $50 off your first purchase when you use the Shawbills credit card only at Shawbills.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2 here on a Friday edition of AFR. Let's do it. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
John Harbaugh met with the media earlier. Yes, that's New York Giants coach John Harbaugh, which is still weird. He was updating Malik Neighbors. Of course, Neighbors tore the ACL last September, had surgery, had a second procedure. He was asked about his status, or Harbaugh was, that of Neighbors' status as the season approaches. Said it's just impossible to predict. The knee injury is not simple. Of course, Neighbors, along with the ACL, had other ligament damage in his knee as well. And, of According to John Harbaugh, he's still in the middle of it. If you listen to Malik Neighbors and his rehab, he says he's going to be out there week number 1 when they open up on Sunday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys. John Harbaugh not quite there yet on Neighbors. We'll continue to keep you updated there. Dylan Cruz wore the collar 0 for 3 on Thursday in Major League Baseball. The Nats lost that series finale 2-1 to the New York Mets. Kevin Gausman will be on the bump tonight for the Toronto Blue Jays as they host the Pittsburgh Pirates. We were so close to a Paul Skeens Kevin Gausman matchup, but nonetheless, Gausman will be there. 3-3, a 3.45 ERA, 53 strikeouts in 57 1/3 innings, just 9 walks so far for the Blue Jays ace. And then WNBA action tonight. Angel Reese and the Atlanta Dream, they'll be in action. Reese on the season so far averaging 10 and 12. She'll go for another double-double with her new squad here on Friday night. That is Tigers in the pros. This is a Friday edition of After Further Review. Musso in for Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Putting a button here on hour number 2. We'll grab a break, come back. Sports Center on the other side for national headlines. And then the Pardon My Take boys. They just made their rounds around Louisiana. We gave you some tidbits from Lane Kiffin on the show earlier this week. Kellen Moore joined PMT. We'll tell you what the Saints head coach said next to start hour number 3.
AFR.
Brought to you by Evermore. Drink Evermore, EVAMOR, Evermore.com, Evermore.com. For elite athletes, for someone who just wants a healthier lifestyle. Maybe you're a parent, you want a healthier option for your children. Evermore is a great option. I would highly encourage you, bottom line, if you're drinking tap water, don't. Bare minimum, filter your tap water. But the best option is Evermore. This is natural artesian water. It's underground aquifers on the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain, right there in Covington. They dug a well into that aquifer, and I mean, it's literally thousands of years in the making. That's why they call it Mother Nature's masterpiece. That's what they're pulling out of the ground. The only filtration is take like the sediment from the ground out of the water, and it goes right into the bottle. So it never touches air until you uncap it, take that first delicious sip. Learn more where you can buy it, great retailers or online, EVAMOR, Evermore.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 25 Jeep Grand Cherokee with $15,000 off MSRP.
Plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Ever wonder why cane sauce doesn't come in a pre-sealed packet? It's because it's made.
This is Sports Center.
I'm John Ryder. We have an anticipated Game 3 of the NBA's West Finals tonight in San Antonio, with the Spurs taking on the Thunder, and the series tied at 1. Oklahoma City winning Game 2. Spurs guard Stephon Castle had 25 points, but also 9 turnovers and 3 fouls in the loss. Castle on the adjustments he has to make for Game 3.
I think it's more personal on my end, just really speeding myself up, not allowing our screeners to get hits. So it's putting me in a position where I have to play fast, or, my screener might get an offensive foul. So, I put us at a disadvantage to start the game with those. But, some of it comes with fatigue. But, at this point of the season, it's really no excuse. So.
And you can tune into Game 3 of the West Finals tonight on ESPN Radio and the app, with coverage starting at 8 Eastern. NFL news, sources telling ESPN that veteran quarterback Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals are still not close to reaching an agreement on a reworked deal for next season. Golf, second round of the Byron Nelson in Texas. Siwoo Kim has the lead at 17 under. He's 4 ahead of Scotty Scheffler. Jordan Spieth is 5 back.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options, Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Off and running, welcome in. Hour number 3 after further review here on a Friday, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Musso in for Moscona. Jordan Kitchens, Paul O'Neill, they are along for the ride, and happy to have you along for the ride as well. One more hour to go. We send you into Memorial Day weekend, the extended weekend to kick off summer. Chris Marler, LouisianaSports.net. He'll be with us here in about, call it 13 or so minutes. He's in Hoover, Alabama. Get an update kind of on the SEC tournament. It's Marler's first trip to the SEC tournament, how the maiden voyage has gone. Arkansas and Texas, they're in action right now. Bottom of the first inning. Arkansas leads at 3-0. Texas has the bases loaded with 2 outs, and Arkansas's ace, Hunter Dietz, just left the ball game after taking a line drive off of his foot. So we'll go to Hoover here shortly and check in with Marler. A little bit of baseball, really just how he's kind of enjoying the tournament as well. And I want to touch on a little bit more with LSU Baseball. We had Ryan Theriot with us for a bit there in the 4 o'clock hour, and he got me thinking a little bit when talking about how LSU attacks the transfer portal. So I kind of want to circle back to that a little bit later on as well. Then we'll wrap it up with Ask Us. You can send your questions in. Text 499-1045. You can tweet them to me at Musso Matthew, Bayou Ford YouTube chat. Questions for me, Jordan, Paul, any of us. We'll kind of answer those to wrap up the show here. Earlier this week, Lane Kiffin took his turn on Pardon My Take with Big Cat, PFT, and the boys from Barstool. Then they took the short drive, hour, down I-10 to New Orleans toward the Saints facility, and Kellen Moore sat down on Pardon My Take. That episode dropped today. It was a lot of kind of what you'd expect. Some humor, some fluff. Kellen Moore's background, his time with the Cowboys, with the Eagles. Obviously, his first head coaching job with the Saints. why he's not in the College Football Hall of Fame, which actually is a really good question. Why Kellen Moore is not in the College Football Hall of Fame yet. That will come eventually. But there were a couple things that did strike me from the interview. One of them was Kellen Moore talking about how you go about carrying over success and what actually is the key to carrying over the success from the 4-1 finish to the season now into 2026, where many people believe you have a chance to win the NFC South.
I think there's parts to it. Obviously, there's a long window between seasons. We get that, but there's a ton of young guys who played late in the year. I think that says a lot about those guys, developing, and obviously those guys are going to carry on some big roles moving forward.
When I hear the young guys, it's easy to just look offensive right there. Not that there weren't players, defensively, but it's easy to look at it offensive because, well, just look at your offensive line and your two tackles, right? I mean, Tali Fuaga was in his second year, was your right tackle for the entire season after playing left tackle. So he's now got 2 full seasons starting in the NFL, 1 at each position. That's huge. And you saw a much better performance from him at right tackle than left. Makes sense. It's where he played in college. And then, Kelvin Banks was a rookie and was one of, if not the highest graded rookie. I think he was the highest graded rookie left tackle in the NFL a year ago. That's great. Obviously, Tyler Shough goes into that. Chris Olave, while he's been in the league a while, he's been in and out of the lineup with injuries and things of that nature, so you got a full season out of him for only the second time. You like what you saw there. You got some decent stuff out of the running back spot. You saw some of the young guys. Chase Young's still a young guy. Do well defensively. I think you like what you saw from Danny Stutzman in the limited action that he was able to get. So you went about building a nice core. And more importantly, Kellen Moore was able to build his culture in New Orleans. And that's why when you look at them letting DeMario Davis walk, you can feel okay with that from a culture standpoint because it's now Kellen Moore's franchise and he was able to instill that. And I think there's no greater example of that than the way the Saints finished the season. Yeah, you know what? You didn't play the best of teams down the stretch, right? You got to play the Titans, who finished with 6 wins, the Jets, who finished with 5. You got to play teams that weren't. I'm sorry, the Jets did not finish with 5 wins. I misspoke there. They were actually much worse than that. But you got to beat up maybe on a lesser schedule. But look, in the same vein, you lost to the Arizona Cardinals early in the year, right? They fired their coach. All right. You lost to Tampa midway through the season. So it balances itself out. And I think a great illustration of that and the culture being established was this cut from Kellen Moore. And the guys on Pardon My Take asked him what he learned from Mike McCarthy.
Just really steady, really consistent day in and day out, week in and week out. I think, what they had so much success year after year in Green Bay as well was, just their consistency. And I think it was because everything was so steady that, the NFL is about highs and lows. No matter what we do, 2 years ago, you're in Philly. At one point, we're 2-2 in Philly, and the whole world is going to fall apart because we lost to Tampa. And, the teams that can kind of stay steady, those are the teams that have success towards the end.
The teams that stay steady have success towards the end. The New Orleans Saints stayed steady a year ago. And he was able to bring that in. That didn't happen with the previous regime. There was no steadiness to this. The New Orleans Saints started 1-8. 1-8. and then finished 6-11, with the 4 out of 5 being the catalyst for that. So that's the part for me that I look up with the Saints and I go, man, that's the encouraging part. We were talking earlier about what Tyler Shough has to do to show that he's the franchise quarterback. We said, if it's, win the division, take you to the playoffs in his first full season, you might be asking a lot there. But if it's go out there, have a really productive season, throw for over 3,000 yards, increase the touchdowns, the touchdown interception rate gets better, 65% or more completion percentage, and your offense has a good year, you'll feel really good there. And you would think a lot of those production would follow with the wins, right? But yeah, you moved on from some aging veteran players. So maybe there are still some holes on this team that cost you wins, even with an offense playing well. But the one thing you shouldn't be concerned about is them staying steady. Because Kellen Moore is a rookie head coach, and he admittedly made mistakes early in the year. All rookie head coaches do. You got a whole new crop of them coming in for 2026, and guess what? They're all going to make mistakes early in the season. You'll get to play one of them in Jesse Minter week 2 with the Baltimore Ravens. But the culture being established, that was my big takeaway really with those two answers from Kellen Moore in a 34-minute interview with the guys over at Barstool. Those two stood out head and shoulders above all because it really shows why they were able to have success a year ago and why you should see them have success at the end of the year, I should say a year ago, and why you should feel confident that they're going to have success going into year 2 under Kellen Moore. The culture is there. You've shored up your offense. Can you get enough out of your defense with what you've added in free agency and letting go of some aging players to make a run at the division and return to the playoffs for the first time since 2020? We'll get our answer soon enough. The Saints report for OTAs Wednesday. They'll continue their offseason program then. We're going to grab a break. Come back on the other side. Head out to Hoover and the SEC Baseball Tournament. Check in with Chris Marler, LouisianaSports.net, and All Around Goofball here next on AFR.
After further review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, do what injured people in Louisiana have done for more than 30 years. Call Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. 888-8888. It's all 8s. 888-8888. I don't even need to give you the area code because no matter where you are in the state, it doesn't matter. Just dial 888-8888 for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Gordon does an awesome job, man. He's a great person. They've been so invested in our communities with all the charitable and service work that they do. They give back into the communities that they represent, no matter what time of year. If it's the bike giveaway for kids around Christmas time, if it's the laptop giveaway around back to school time, if it's the charitable work they do during October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, they're always involved in the community. We tell you all the time, of course, about the G Team and what Gordon's done with NIL and the opportunities that he's afforded student athletes. Just a great, great community partner. If you've been injured, you need representation, go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Raising Cane's Texas Toast is a thick slice of bread, garlic butter spread, grilled to golden perfection, and made to order just for you. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinecenterla.com.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Safer game.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, as we say, together we roar. Part of the Franciscan Missionaries of Our Lady Health System. And, you know, I love telling you about Our Lady of the Lake because whenever we talk about healthcare, Our Lady of the Lake understands the two things primarily that people want are access and convenience. And they knock that out of the park. Whether it be at the Regional Medical Center, if it's the Lake After Hours, if it's any of the specialty services that you may need, heart, stroke, cancer, pediatrics, you want the best. You want Our Lady of the Lake. You can learn more about the Championship Health Partnership, OLOLRMC.com/LSU, OLOLRMC.com/LSU. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, together we roar.
Back here after further review on a Friday, about to send you into your Memorial Day weekend. Arkansas just hits a 3-run homer to take a 6-1 lead over Texas in the second inning. Game got started late due to rain, and now they have 7 runs on the board, and they're not even through 2 innings. Eat your heart out, SEC tournament fans. This is how it always goes. Let's head to Hoover. Chris Marler, LouisianaSports.net, internet goofball, co-host of Off the Bench. Basically, at this point, he joins us from his maiden voyage, the first time ever for Marler at the SEC tournament. How's it going, dude?
I'm in line for the bathroom, so I didn't know they hit a home run. So you really spoiler alert there for you, Musso. No, we haven't even made it to the stadium yet today because the rain has pushed everything back. We're going tonight with the fiance and her Auburn grad friends. And we're fired up, man. This is like, I don't want to sit here and be like, this is everything I thought it would be and more. Because we got here like Wednesday night, hustled ass over from Baton Rouge, got here right in time for first pitch. Obviously, one of us in the household was happy about how the Auburn LSU game went. I wasn't as much. But it's such a cool event. Like, it's such a cool event. I will tell you, the baseball itself is awesome. I think they do a phenomenal job with it at Hoover. I think it should stay there. That whole part has been really cool. My God, there's a lot of kids running around. I mean, just everywhere you look, there is some feral 8-year-old playing catch and not very accurately. But other than that, it's been pretty fun.
Well, no, actually, it's good you brought that up because that I'm not kidding. That really was going to be my next question is, will we see you on the broadcast tonight fighting 8-year-olds for the foul balls on the berm? I think you can take them.
Just wearing my not so much of a rip-off Major League Baseball jersey. Like everyone here is in their baseball uniform, and it's like the Angels logo, but it's like attack. We're on the Birmingham Attack, and you're like, why are you all wearing your uniform? You're not playing today.
Yeah.
It's honestly like rival gangs, but with 8-year-olds. And I was telling Allie this yesterday, so I went up there by myself yesterday, and I was in my best all black outfit because I wanted it to be slimming, and I walked into the Fan Fest, and I think 90% of the people in Fan Fest between the ages of like 8 and 16 years old. And then there's me just dressed like Pepe Le Pew walking around with like a Miller Lite. And I was like, this is not where I need to be. Like, I need to be somewhere else.
Marler, that's not a good look.
No.
I got to be honest with you, brother. That's tough.
Yeah. And I have like a pencil thin mustache right now, and I was smoking cigarettes like out of a filter like Cruella de Vil. So it was very fresh and very bad.
Oh man, Marler walking around Fan Fest with a beer and just a bunch of kids. I'm surprised security actually didn't come after you there. Okay, well, I want to talk to you a little bit more about the experience because, I mean, as you said, this is an event that people love. You mentioned wearing black, being slimming. What's the best thing you've eaten at the ballpark so far? I mean, I know they got fried Oreos and all type of concessions out there.
Yeah, I didn't know they had fried Oreos.
They do. They have fried Oreos.
So here's the thing that I don't. You know me well enough to know where I'm going to take this. Is that the lack of alcohol in the stadium is frustrating. So in right field, there's a bar, and it's like $30. I want to say that they promote it like, yeah, $30 all you can drink. And you're like, okay, you messed up. Like, that's on you. And then you get in, and it's like 30 minutes or $30 all you can drink, but you pay for all of the drinks you can drink, which is how I probably, in hindsight, they probably did phrase it that way. But so that part was cool. Like, it's a cool little right field, like bleacher setup. I thought that part was really, really awesome. We were lucky enough to have a listener of ours or mine.
Shout out.
Is it a Tennessee fan? Super nice. Shout out Jess Valladay, and was like, hey, we lost. We're going home. We have 4 tickets if you want them. They're in the Cabana Suite. And so the Cabana Suite is like down the left field line, and it's always at Cabanas, and everyone in the Cabanas has a group of people with them in the Cabanas. I showed up yesterday to ours, riding solo, and it was just me. And it was, I mean, so I walked in, and there's like an unplugged fridge with 2 Diet Cokes, which honestly, I mean, was good enough for me. But it's like the hot dogs are fantastic. I just don't know why. I'm very excited about the fried Oreos, by the way. You just talked about that. I had no idea.
Yeah, they have those.
And it doesn't, I wonder if like the beer part of it and the alcohol part of it is because there are so many kids running around, or if it's also because like it's kind of narrow spaces in there, right? There's only one real walkway in that stadium. And so it might have had, the lines might have been too congested or something like that. I'm not sure. But that part of it has been, like, it seems like it's so well run. It's so much fun. I mean, like all the guys from SC Network are here. Got to say hey to Dari the other day and Tom and all that good stuff. And told PB I'm going to swing by and get his skincare routine because he looks better and better on camera every year. But it's been a really cool experience. And I think the coolest part too is that like the amount of traveling for the fans has been really impressive. And like I said, I haven't been up there today, but it feels like it's been a pretty good representation of everyone, like of every single every single fan base and Auburn. I mean, that Auburn LSU game on Wednesday night. So that's been my first experience with it. Was kind of like it's hard to compete with that because you're the 4th largest crowd in the history of the entire tournament, and it's a Wednesday night game. And I love the way they had the setup of it, right? Like I am somebody that wants, selfishly, I want to wake up and have baseball on at 9:30. I said this the other day on LSN in one of our articles, shameless plug, but like anytime I can get baseball on an hour before the Chick-fil-A breakfast closes, like I am all in on that. So I love the first 2 days. You have 4 straight games, 14 straight hours of it. But they've done a great job of trying to, plan for the weather that happens every year.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's shocking that it took till Friday for the tarp to be on the field. But,
right.
Yeah, I mean, look who you're talking to. I also love the 9:30 a.m. the 9:30 a.m. baseball. Let's talk a little bit about the baseball now. Who's really stood out to you so far in the SEC tournament? Chalk is held basically now throughout after the first day. So who's really stood out?
I think Arkansas, it's easy to say right now because they're up 6-1 on Texas, right? Like Texas has become this weird, almost like Kentucky basketball, Bama football-ish type of like conversation with their baseball. It's like, oh yeah, they're clearly the best team. And you're like, but are they? They have a ton of talent. The pitching is great, but like, I do think Auburn's pitching is better. I think Georgia's hitting is better than everyone's.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not shocked that Arkansas is playing their best baseball at the right time. Now, how long will that last? In the month of May and June, we will find out, as we usually do with them. But Georgia's a team, man. Like Georgia's the team that stands out to me the most all season long. And it's mainly because, like, I love watching this Auburn team play. I love their pitching staff. I love, like, how, for lack of better words, how gritty they are. Them closing out their season with Georgia, Mississippi State, and A&M with 2 of those on the road, and they won 2 of those series. I thought that was incredibly impressive. But again, Georgia, it's very weird to me that you'll still see people that are around like college baseball media trying to convince themselves more than anyone that this Georgia team might not be a top 8 seed. And you're like, I don't know what else they have to do. This is like, it wasn't until a couple of days ago on 11.7, I think that they were finally like, yeah, I think they have solidified their shot. I mean, going into the week, there was talk of on some platforms of like how, and I don't mean just like a dude on Twitter. I mean like there was talks in some of these. It's like, they might need to win the series for them to get one of these top seeds because they're what do you call it? They're SOS and their KPI and their LOL and their OMG and all those numbers and acronyms didn't line up as well as some of the other teams. And it's like, dude, they went 23-7 in the regular season in the SEC and won the conference by 3.5 games. And what they continue to do that amazes me more than anything is they're like the opposite of LSU, really. It's like they just find new ways to win. And it's not just the bats this year. Like, where in the past it was like, man, that pitching staff is a pretty big liability. But they've been able to win games like they did at Auburn last week, 2-1 or 5-3 against Mississippi State. But they need the pitching to be there. It's been there. And the bats have never silenced at any point this season.
The most impressive thing about Georgia is that the power has traveled the way that it has. 2.5 home runs per game at home, 2.5 home runs per game on the road, and they've hit some moonshots in Hoover. The ball has absolutely jumped out of the Hoover Met this week as
Isn't
well.
That wild to you? That was
it
they
is.
Reached the halfway of like I think the record's like 46 in the tournament, and they hit 23 in the first 7 games.
It was crazy, and they weren't cheap. That's the other thing. I mean, they moved the fences in a few years ago, and with the lower seam on the bat and on the ball and offense just being back in the game, it stood to reason that you have more. Where the ball really doesn't jump is late at night because the humidity, the air gets so heavy there. I mean, look at the dew on the field between LSU and Auburn. That's your example there. But so that's been the most impressive thing to me about Georgia. I will say the one thing that does concern me is their pitching depth. When you get past your top junior rotation and Bird and Scott and Aoki, what's really there? So I mean, if they do drop a game, do they have what it takes to come out of the losers bracket? That's interesting to me. Let's talk about the ABS here, Marler, while I've got you, because I know you've been keeping up with it over at LouisianaSports.net, posting graphics, articles, all of those things about it. You and I talked about it a little bit earlier in the week. Give me your thoughts.
Okay, so I'm gonna come at this from an angle of like just like you and I talked, right? Like I wasn't a pitcher, I was a hitter. So from the hitting standpoint, my biggest thing is do not blank up my at bat because you are incorrect with your call. If I'm in a 1-0 count and someone does an off-speed pitch 2 inches off the plate, and I leave it because it's 2 inches off the plate, and I'm also not swinging that on 1-0, then don't turn my 1-0 count into a 1-1 instead of a 2-0. Don't turn my 2-1 count or my 3-1 counts into 2-2. Like do not put me upside down in the count, especially because you've made the incorrect call. And I think that the issue is people took a lot of umbrage with this, which was crazy to me, that I knew the word umbrage for one, and then two, that people were doing this on social media, which is they were taking it for the ups because I put out this graphic that I was like, hey, they were 80% wrong on challenges in the first game. Like they were in Mizzou, Ole Miss, they had 8 out of the 10 calls they challenged were overturned to the correct call, which was not what the umpire had made. I'm not saying that umpires are making calls 80% incorrectly the entire game, but the ones that are fringe that they called in the very first game of the tournament, with the very first time we're using the system, they were incorrect 80% of the time. I think over the course of the tournament, that number's dwindled down to, I think, like 59.5%. And that's, but again, I'm so tired of hearing about human error and the human element of baseball. People are going to be curmudgeons about this because they don't like change. And this is the oldest sport, that most of us have watched forever. It's been around for a bazillion years. And like, you don't want to see robot umps. It does devalue the catcher. I think there's an argument to be made for that in some capacities. But more than anything, like, I don't want the incorrect call dictating the outcome. And I'll give you one that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but it matters to me as someone that loves watching this kid hit and loved watching him play at LSU. It did not matter in the end result of the game, but imagine if LSU was able to come back, but they had two bad missed third calls or missed third strike calls from the umpire that were overturned. Theriot is one of the best professional hitters I have ever watched at the college level. Everything he does is effortless, and the way he's the backside of the field, I love it. Like, I've loved watching him play for 2 years. His last college at bat was almost a backwards K because the guy behind the plate probably wanted to go home a little bit. They've been out there for damn 14 hours and also missed it by, I don't know, an inch and a half. And like, that to me is inexcusable because you need to get this thing right. I do not want to hear about the human element. I do not want to hear about the human error. It's error. It's incorrect. And so I'm tired of if you are sitting here simping and standing for an umpire, we have bigger issues that we need to talk about. For one, that to me is insane. Like, that is, there was some big LSU fan that commented, this is wrong. This is absolutely, and it's like, brother, I don't know what any of these guys have done for you. They helped you get a loan on a house or a car or something. But what are we doing right now? Like, it is just, I just taking up for the officiating is like cheering when the teacher gives you extra homework. I mean, that's bizarre to me.
I can confidently say that's the first time the phrase simping and standing has ever been used on this show. Like, I just feel so confident in that. No, I'm with you, man. You know that. Like I said, we talked about it earlier in the week. And a lot of people made a big deal of the size of the zone, it being more like the college strike zone, which I actually favor the college strike zone because not all these guys are going to go pro. You can't expect them to all throw into a major league like strike zone. But my bigger gripe with that is, you know what? It's a bigger zone. And when that graphic pops up and people are challenging something that's called a strike and it's still a ball an inch and a half off the plate, do you realize how bad he actually missed that to call it a strike? Like, the size thing goes both ways with this.
But it's also, I don't understand how they don't see that side of the argument. Like that part to me is still so bewildering because you're like, the zone is too big. And you're like, yes. And they're like, so that they shouldn't have to be ridiculed like this. And it's like, the zone is too big and they're still missing it. Like, how much bigger do we need to make it for the umpire who's paid to be behind the plate to get it right? Like, I feel bad for those guys sometimes, especially if they have to wear all that gear and pads and they're going to be yelled at and, go through all the rain and Hoover, all that kind of stuff. But again, you have a job to do. That's why you're paid to do it. What's the Mad Men quote? That's what the money's for. Like, that's what the money's for. Make the right call.
I hope we see it in the SEC regular season. I understand it might not ever make its way into the NCAA postseason, but I hope we see it in the SEC regular season going forward. I'm late here, but give me your prediction. Who wins the SEC tournament come Sunday?
Oh man, I had Mississippi State. so
all right, give me your updated pick.
I'm going to take Auburn. Take Auburn. Yeah, because I have to, because I was looking at me. But I also do love the way they're playing right now. And they had a little day off, too, and I love that. And listen, last thing I want to say about the ABS thing, I think you brought up a really good point about the postseason. That's part of the issue, too, though, man, is that they have that seems to be when they get caught up in the moment the most sometimes is Omaha. Don't get me started. Who needs it more than anyone is the Women's College World Series, because those umps get real impacted by the crowd. But I think I would love to see it continue further on. I think it's been a really good experiment. And I will take Auburn to win the SEC championship.
All right, man. Marler, you enjoy the rest. Y'all are staying through Sunday?
I think we're coming back tomorrow morning because I got to record for Eagles, so we'll see.
All right. Well, y'all enjoy the last day there in Hoover. It's going to be a late night because this game got started an hour and a half later. But y'all enjoy it, and we'll talk to you when you get back, all right?
Appreciate it, brother.
Absolutely. Chris Marler, LouisianaSports.net. He's the SEC writer over there. He's in boots on the ground in Hoover, pumping out content, ABS, all that stuff. If you're interested, get over to LouisianaSports.net. Read his stuff. It's free. Always free at LouisianaSports.net. We'll grab a break, come back. I actually want to talk a little bit more about LSU Baseball and a brief thought on the softball team, who are 2 wins away from the Women's College World Series. We'll do that next here on AFR.
After further review.
Let's Rev, R-E-V, letsrev.com, letsrev.com. You ever just get super frustrated at super slow internet? Oh, we've all been there, man. The little spinning wheel, slamming your keyboard or your mouse, pounding the desk because it's so frustrating. Your internet's so slow. Storm comes, knocks the power out, knocks the internet out, knocks the cable out. You're so frustrated. Maybe that's just me because I get kind of angry about things. But it's annoying. Nobody wants that to happen. Rev can help. They're local and 5 gigs, lightning fast speeds, and backed by an all-fiber network. Fiber. It's buried under the ground. I mean, you don't have to worry about a storm coming knocking the power lines down. Let's Rev. Listen, more than 70,000 Louisiana homeowners and business owners trust Rev. You should as well. REV. 90 years of local experience. LetsRev.com. LetsRev.com.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
maybe you're looking to upgrade that ride before the family road trip. Get on by South Point Volkswagen, airline just north of Highland, or online at southpointvw.com. Southpointvw.com. Told you for years, they are Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. Maybe you need that full-size family SUV. Make sure you go test drive the Atlas. That's what Erica drives. It's the 3-row, 7-seater family SUV. Tons of space to accommodate our family, all our bags, all the beach stuff as well. Go test drive one today at South Point Volkswagen. Remember, you can shop them online, new and certified pre-owned. So if you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, great selection. Say it all the time. They're the largest volume Volkswagen dealer. They move more new inventory, so they have more pre-owned trade-in inventory as well. So make sure you shop their pre-owned vehicles over at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
All right, back here after further review. I intended to talk a little bit more LSU baseball here in this segment, but I haven't left myself a whole lot of time. We had Ryan Theriot on earlier in the show talking about, putting a button on LSU season, and we talked about portal, and I asked Theriot what he looked for how Jay would attack this offseason, because they've talked so much about retention, but it's an undeniable truth. They have to go into the portal and get some difference makers. And Ryan talked about the pitching staff and basically kind of overhauling it. Like, you have a handful of guys that you know are going to be back, Casey Evans, William Schmidt, Cooper Moore, Marcos Paz, that you've seen good stuff from those guys. But you need some change there. And I had asked him, are you at all concerned with an overhaul, given, we know LSU has good players, the development just wasn't there? Are you concerned overhauling it, bringing in a bunch of new guys and kind of maybe starting from scratch a little bit there? And he said no. And he brought up an interesting point where, to him, that's more of a concern with an offensive player. Will it translate to a different level? And man, that's what really got me thinking. Because if you look at the last 2 years for LSU baseball, isn't that just exactly what happened? I mean, you look at hitting, you're going to a new level. With pitching, as Theriot said, the stuff is the stuff. Anthony Ianson came from UC San Diego, mid-major. But the guy throws 95 with a wipeout slider. That translated. Offensively, it's much more of a crapshoot, isn't it? Zach York was the leading home run hitter in program history at Grand Canyon. It didn't translate to this level. Braden Simpson, career 300 hitter, 22 bombs a year ago at High Point. It didn't transfer over to this level. The flip side of that is, last year it did. With Danny Dickinson, guy came from Utah Valley, hit 300 on a national championship winning team for LSU. Luis Hernandez comes from Illinois State, starts at catcher for LSU, has a bunch of clutch hits. It translated over. The last 2 years have shown you that in a nutshell. Whereas with your pitching, it is much easier for it to translate. I can see the need to overhaul a lot of this staff. You kind of need fresh blood in there, right? You need a fresh makeover. But you still have a lot of guys where stuff is good. The development piece is very fascinating to me on the mound for LSU going forward. And I do think that's where you see the bulk of the portal additions. Although there are some spots in the field and some draft decisions that are going to impact that as well this offseason. We'll have much more time to talk about that on Tuesday when we're back here after the Memorial Day holiday. Really kind of take a look at the roster, numbers, decisions, all of that stuff. We'll do that. Might even split it into two segments with, the fielding and the offense and then the pitching staff when we're back here on Tuesday. But it's going to be fascinating. And when he said that about the offense, it triggered that in my brain where it's like, man, it played out the last 2 years here, where you had guys from lower levels coming in and translate, and you had guys from lower levels come in this year, and it didn't. The margin for error is smaller there, which that's all things that you learn about when things go as poorly as they did this past year, and you adjust. And that's the task for Jay Johnson and his staff. Before we hit our final break, Beth Tarina and the LSU women's softball team, they get underway in the Super Regional in Tuscaloosa in about 16 or so, 16 minutes or so from right now. They're 2 wins away from the Women's College World Series in Oklahoma City, and job well done by Beth Tarina this year. She deserves a lot of praise for bringing that team along. I mean, given what their offseason was, I mean, you lost your ace pitcher to transfer portal in Sydney Berzon. It was a tough start for this team. They had a really rough pre-conference tournament in there. They started 4-8. They were 4-8 in the SEC at the halfway point. And she kept training on the tracks, kept it all together. They end up 13-11 in conference after starting 4-8. They host a regional and sweep through it, including 2 big victories over a higher-ranked Virginia Tech squad. And now you are 2 wins away from going back to the Women's College World Series. It'll be an uphill battle against Alabama. They're really good. But that is an awesome performance by that team to weather the early storm and now be 2 wins away from going to the Women's College World Series. They get started here at 6 p.m. We'll be watching. We'll be rooting for Coach Beth and the Lady Tigers over there with LSU softball. All right, we're going to grab a break, come back on the other side. We will close out the week here on AFR and send you into a long holiday weekend. That's next, Friday's edition of AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Yes, hormone replacement therapy. Yes, NAD+. Yes, BPC 157. Yes, ED treatment. The bottom line is, gentlemen, I don't care how old you are. It's about how old you feel. And do you want to feel like you did when you were younger? Do you want to live a more vital life? Do you want to live a more energetic life where you wake up in the morning, your feet hit the floor, and you're rip-roaring ready to go, where you're motivated to get in the gym, where you have a great libido, where you have great mindset, energy, mental clarity, memory, all that sort of stuff? It's possible. It's affordable. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness can help you do it. Hormone replacement therapy could be a giant part of that for you. NAD Plus can literally help your cellular optimization to make you younger at a cellular level. BPC 157, tremendous in helping in recovery. Learn more. yourgoodwood.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
If your office is experiencing performance performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices.
Tell you every day, better coverage for less money. And man, my friends over at Insurance Network of Louisiana are crushing it for Louisianians on their auto insurance right now. Listen, if you have not had anyone shop for your auto insurance lately, you got to call Insurance Network of Louisiana. My goodness. They got some top-rated companies, Geico, Progressive. They're doing awesome work right now. This was an amazing story that I heard. They wrote one last week, saved the client $2,911 annually. They had a high auto rate with State Farm. They smashed it with Geico. They had another one save $1,476 annually with Progressive. They had Allstate and switched. Y'all, I tell you all the time, if you're just auto-renewing your insurance, man, you're probably overpaying and you're underinsured. Let Insurance Network of Louisiana help. LAinsurance.net.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
AFR is brought to you by First South Farm Credit. You know where to start. Your first call, your first visit, your first option when it comes to buying land in Louisiana is First South Farm Credit. And honestly, it doesn't even have to be land in Louisiana because First South Farm Credit can help you buy land in any of the contiguous 48. And they've got more than 40 branches in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So if you're right here in the Southeast, there's First South Farm Credit locations all near you. But remember, like, for example, let's say a lot of our audience in New Orleans, of course. You're living in New Orleans, maybe you're starting to build a family, grow a family. You want to move to the North Shore like a lot of people do. You want to buy the 100 acres in Tangipahoa. You can. And First South Farm Credit can help because they have an office in Amite. So you can walk in there, you can do business with someone who talks like you, lives where you live, and help you buy land wherever you want to buy land in the contiguous 48. It's First South Farm Credit. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call, your first option should be First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com.
All right, wrapping up a Friday edition here of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Wrapping up the week. Memorial Day weekend. It is upon us.
Finally.
Jordan?
Yes, sir.
I know you're fired up for the weekend.
Very.
What you got going on, man? Plans Memorial Day?
Not really plans necessarily. We'll see Sunday if the weather cooperates. You know, me and my friends will get together and do something. So just fingers crossed that we can have a little bit of sunlight. You know, I'm not asking for all day. Just give me a little bit.
I don't mind dodging raindrops on Sunday, but you got to give me a window.
Just something.
You got to give me a window where I can really kind of veg out. Yeah, yes. Just for a little bit, man. It can be overcast. That's cool with me.
I can do that.
Maybe a sun pokes through a touch. Fine.
Love it.
I just can't have washout thunderstorms all day on Sunday, especially because that's probably going to happen Monday too. So, like, I need a little bit of a window there.
Oh, I just thought about that. You just said Monday. Of course, our days off, we're going to be in the house.
Yeah. Well, Monday's going to be a recovery day for your boy anyway.
Okay.
Saturday and Sunday are going to be pretty big days. So Monday's the recovery day anyway. So I probably wasn't planning on leaving the house.
Yeah.
Maybe just sleep in and enjoy the rain that day.
You can sleep in.
I could, and I plan on it. Although sleeping in for me has changed dramatically. Sleeping in is now like 9 o'clock.
Dude.
Whereas when I was younger, sleeping in was like 1 p.m.
Yeah, I'm about to say 12.
Just fantastic. God, I miss being able to do that.
I don't know.
My body physically can't do it anymore.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if I can go back to that lifestyle. Because right now, it's really hard for me to sleep in regardless. Like, my body just wakes up like I'm up. Like you said, like 9 o'clock, that's probably the longest I can stay asleep now. But before, like you said, 12, 1 p.m., oh yeah, baby, we sleeping in all day.
If my body would allow me, I could easily go back to that lifestyle.
I wish.
100%. Paul, Memorial Day plans for the O'Neills?
We are taking it easy.
Okay.
We took a trip last weekend for Opal's end of school year. So, this weekend we're just kind of staying at home. New baby in the house, so
yes, sir.
Taking it easy.
Taking it easy.
Miles' first Memorial Day.
First one.
Right here. First one. You're just going to take it easy. I respect that. I get it, man. I mean, that's actually, it's not true. I don't get it. I don't have kids. I don't get it. I don't have kids yet. So I don't get it. But I understand. Let me put it that way. I understand what you're doing there.
I'm a pro at taking it easy.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll eventually do something, but yeah, as of right now, no plans.
Well, it's again with the weather. It's a good it's a good weekend to have no plans for Memorial Day. I'm gonna we got a group date dinner tomorrow night. Girlfriend and I are gonna go out with a couple buddy of mine and their wives. We've been trying to do it for a long time, and it just didn't happen. But we had it set up for the Arkansas game this last football season. It was an 11 a.m. kick.
Yeah.
So it was like, man, we know they're going to be done. We can go out, have a good night. That's going to be fun. And then one of my buddy's wife's family came in for like a 2-week early Thanksgiving, and that got shot down. I don't know.
2 weeks early.
I think it's weird too.
Yeah.
Okay. But, we're going to make that happen Saturday night, and then a little pool day, and your boy's going to have paddle in hand and be on crawfish duty probably for the last time this summer.
Matter of fact, Matt was telling me you got like a custom paddle and all this.
Yeah, my girlfriend got it for me for Christmas, man. She's the best, and it's stainless steel. It's got my last name engraved in it.
He told me about that.
Eye of the tiger engraved in it. Yeah, man.
And I was mad because I'm like, why Musso never brought us no crawfish if he's chefing like this?
Look, man, we need to make it happen one summer. I love doing it. Like I really do. It's more of a hobby. I like it a lot. So
love that.
We'll do that. So this will probably be the last one of the summer. I mean, the end of May, you're pushing it.
I got you.
With June, but maybe next year we'll have to make that happen.
Don't forget about me.
I'm totally down. I'm not gonna forget about you, man. I'm not gonna forget about you, Jordan. Not at all. All right, that's just about gonna wrap it up here for Friday edition of AFR and for the week. Happy Memorial Day. Happy, safe, healthy Memorial Day. Thank you to all the servicemen and women who give us the opportunity and who we honor on Memorial Day. And we'll be back here on Tuesday. We're going to take the day off Monday. We'll be back here on Tuesday, and I'll be in the chair once again. That's next time on AFR.
AFR.
Always a pleasure to tell you about our friends at the Williamson Eye Center. Check them out online at williamsoneye.com. They've got locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. On the Baton Rouge General Campus, I mean, you turn off a Bluebonnet onto Picardy, you make that right. And then right there at the stop sign, the building on the right, the first 2 floors, that's the Williamson Eye Center. State-of-the-art dry eye center, and it's full service. Of course, they have their state-of-the-art surgery center there where you can have your LASIK or whatever surgical procedure you're having. But they have your standard annual eye exam as well at the Williamson Eye Center. Learn more at williamsoneye.com. The thing I tell you every day is take the advice that I was given and change your life. To give yourself the gift of sight is absolutely incredible. If you're someone like me who spent your life with contacts or glasses, there is a way to be done with it forever. williamsoneye.com. Go see Dr. Blake Williamson for that free consultation. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com for the Williamson Eye Center.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
Every ounce of Raising Cane's lemonade has been hand-squeezed that day from fresh lemons before being served over our signature crushed ice. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Championships are won with preparation, and so are great roofs.
Coach is tough on us about preparation, and Paris brings that same championship mindset.
Do business with someone you know. Paris Construction and Roofing.
ParisGroup.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgout.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.